The game will be on 90.7 FM, but the music doesn't stop. You can keep listening to this show online. Just open up the WFUV app or head to WFUV.org.
It's WFUV New York.
March
Wherever you are, we'll be there with
the
you.
regular season finale of Year 50 of Atlantic 10 basketball. And to celebrate, one of the league's most storied rivalries writes its 79th chapter here in the Bronx. And isn't it fitting? A year removed from Fordham ending URI season in the A10 tourney, they meet again, side by side in the standings, with championship seeding at stake. Oh, last time they met was the game of the year. Today, it's senior day, and it's a battle of the Rams between two teams dead even at 7 and 10. The only difference between them, the names written on their chest. Fordham and URI to close out the A10 season. Live from the Rose Hill Gym, next on WFUV Sports. For the final time this season, we take you live from the historic Rose Hill Gym in the Bronx, New York for the regular season finale of the Atlantic 10 season. It's the hosting Fordham Rams and the visiting Rhode Island Rams meeting for a second time this year and with a whole lot on the line. Joe Henry, Nathan Rogers, honored to be with you as always as we get set for a 2 p.m. tip. Nathan, 365 days, 30 games. No one could have predicted what this year has looked like for Fordham, but the job's not done yet. We sit 4 days away from the A10 tournament. Fordham will have a first-round bye, and Nathan today, against all odds, can clinch its first winning season in 3 years.
And for Fordham, after what was kind of a dramatic season last year with all the violations, and they really cleaned house, and with a whole new staff, only 1% of the roster returning this year, for them to clinch that bye in the A10 tournament for Mike McPile and his Fordham Rams in maroon and white today, I mean, that's an amazing energy to have, especially on senior day. I'm an athlete myself, and being around the same team, you know, that whole year really fighting, and the tenacity they've had to really overcome all those obstacles, especially in non-conference play in that first month or so in November, to really just flip it over here and go on that 4-game win streak and solidify themselves in that bye. It's an amazing to see as not only a fan, but also a broadcaster and a student of the school as well.
Hard to believe it. Last home game of the year. We're just minutes removed from the senior day ceremonies here at Rose Hill. 5 Rams playing their final game in the Rose Hill Gym today. Chris Henry, Day Reeves, Louis Lesmond, Marcus Green, and Jamison O'Toole all getting their moment in front of this crowd with their families, with their teammates, with their coaches, student managers Charlie Dino, Jack Abajian, Jeremy Velasco, and James Kudajar all being honored as well. It's an emotional day. It's going to be an emotional game. Fordham winners of 4 of its last 6, but trying to stop a 2-game skid. Rhodey looking to finish on a 2-game heater. Seeding at stake. We caught up with Fordham head coach Mike McPile pregame with more. Coach, last home game of the season, senior day, seeding implications. Just walk me through all the emotions pregame here.
Just, you know, number one, I just want to honor this season all the way through and the seniors, that some of them that have been here, you know, Jamison O'Toole that have been here for years, and the managers that have been here for years, will be honoring them. But just the other guys that chose to play their last season here at Fordham. It means so much to me and our program and what they've done to date. So, you know, all I've been talking about, let's honor this thing all the way through and crush it today. Just put a performance that we can really be proud of, and we'll never forget the way that we competed today. So really looking forward to getting out there and putting a performance that we can be proud of.
Coach, last time around against URI in that OT thriller, it was really the defense and that down the stretch that really allowed you guys to hang in, end up winning that game. What's the defensive game plan look like today?
Yeah, you know, they are adding another, stud and Tripp that we didn't have to play against, a guy that can shoot it, drive it, and really attack the paint, rebound, get fouled, all of it. So you have another challenge there. But we have to stand our ground. You know, we really, really got to protect the paint. We got to guard without fouling. They got to feel us. We have to disrupt them in every way. Our whole defensive repertoire is going to be on display today. A little bit of pressure when we need it, a little bit of packing the paint, a little bit of zone. And really that's what happened in that first game. We started off in zone. They cut us up. We went to man. We got stabilized. And then we closed with a ton of zone. And we were able to get stops down the stretch. I think we held them without a field goal for a long time there. It'll be a different game today. We know that. And we're going to have to come with everything we got. So, the whole focus the last 2 days is how do we guard these guys? How do we stop these guys? How do we protect the paint?
Flipping over to the offensive side, Wednesday, despite the loss, was maybe the most consistent 40-minute offensive effort of the year. How do you maintain that into this game while also obviously working on the defense?
We've been putting an emphasis on kind of getting out in transition, and that's been really helpful. Now, the tricky thing is those last 2 games of ours, VCU and LaSalle, they've been some of our higher possession games, and we haven't guarded. And so, you look at that as a coach, you're trying to manage the pace of the game and whatnot. So we got to look at transition still because we're getting some good looks there. And then we're just really been talking about keeping the ball alive. The ball's been popping from side to side, really getting it moving. And when we do that, now Roar's shooting ability and then Akira's shooting ability and transition have really come to fruition. Then Abbas hit a couple. And Day, who's been working on it, that's really exciting to see him bang some threes. But it's all about the paint. We still throw the ball in, utilize our post presence and our ability to get downhill into the paint by Christian and Day, and then hopefully, we're banging threes today. And I think that's really going to come down to between Rhode Island and Fordham, who are both, not great shooting teams, but willing to take them. So we'll see. I think it's going to be who gets more paint touches and who gets better looks from 3 out of those.
This team likes to create a lot of chaos off turnovers and get points off takeaways, and they're coming off a great win against Duquesne. How important is taking care of the ball today?
It's huge. Duquesne had 19 turnovers in that game, and that was really the turning point, and for us, when we played them, we actually turned them over a little bit. So that's going to be a big part of the game. They're number 1 in the conference at turning you over, one of the top teams in the country at turning you over. Number 23 is really special in that way, and some other guys like Corey, number 20, and they all swipe. And so, but we got to use that strength against them. We're going to have to cut behind their heads and create double gap spacing so that number 23 is not such a big factor. But if he's around, he's a factor. He's always swiping at the ball, and he's talented in that way.
All right, Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
That was Fordham head coach Mike Magpio pregame. Nathan, so much to break down. What are a couple of your keys to the game?
We got 3 keys to the game here, and for Fordham, it's taking care of the ball is number 1. One thing to watch tonight is turnovers. URI really thrives on creating chaos. They forced 19 over Duquesne. It was really the flip of the script there against Duquesne and really got that great win for them. So if Fordham wants to play their half-court offense, they're going to have to take care of the ball. Secondly, don't trip. Jameer Tripp is back in the game, and this is something that Fordham struggled with last time out against VCU. Nick Lewis didn't play the first time against VCU, but then played the second time and really just tore them up in that first half. Jameer Tripp, same thing, did not play against Fordham in that first OT thriller. He's now returning. He was dealing with an injury. He's back playing, so they have to stick with the game plan. And Tripp, he's back in his old stomping grounds and loves Rose Hill. So we're going to have to contain him off the glass. And lastly, capital D defense. The third key is just late game defense. When Fordham forced Rhode Island to play in that half-court late game offense, they didn't score in the last 5:08 and didn't really score in that overtime. No field goals in overtime for URI, and that was really the temperature changer for Fordham. So it's defense. They can't trip. Take care of the ball.
Starting lineups out for both sides, and how about this? Being announced right now, playing in his last home game ever, Jamison O'Toole will get his first ever start. 3-year walk-on, graduating this spring. He's the longest tenured member of this program. If you ask anyone in this building, he's played as big a role as anyone in building this family and this foundation. He's joined by 2 other seniors in the starting 5 for Fordham, Day Reeves, the A-10's leading scorer, putting the finishing touches on one of the greatest single-season campaigns in Fordham history. Marcus Green at his 5th stop in his college career finishes as a Ram and as a starter. Juniors Akira Jacobs and Enrique Schulta, the only 2 Rams to have played in every single game this year, will round out the starting 5. And Nathan, you mentioned it, storylines won't stop in this one on the URI side. Jameer Tripp, who spent his first 2 years in this building wearing maroon, makes his first start against his old team. He missed the last meeting between these 2 teams, but he's been maybe URI's second best player behind Tyler Cochran. Was questionable today, but will play. Another big physical guard. He dropped 25 against Fordham last time out. Jonah Hinton, the St. Bonaventure transfer, joins the starting lineup along with Miles Corey at the guard slot and Keon Itijeri, the 6'9", hyper-athletic big man. Teams taking the floor, a full year of play, Nathan, down to this. The final 40 minutes of the A-10 regular season, just moments away. Fordham in its home whites, maroon strip lettering spelling Fordham across the chest, Rhode Island, and its navy blue roads. Rika Schulta and Keon Itijeri up for the tip. It's scrambled for and won by Miles Corey of URI, and they will have it first, moving left to right. Game 31 of 31 of the regular season. Right wing, Corey working on Marcus Green, spins inside, gets some space and finishes off the glass for two.
And Corey, he's a South Bama transfer, but he's so useful down in those driving lanes. He's such a finesse player and really physical down low.
Fordham on its first offensive possession, moving it right to left. Day Reeves with the ball, top of the key, swings it left wing, Green, quick trigger three, off the front of the iron and in. The senior getting the start on senior day and starting the scoring. 3-2 Fordham through a minute of play. Tyler Cochran working on Akira Jacobs, top of the key. Kicks it left side, Corey. Back to Cochran. This team's leading scorer, 9th in the conference. Double team in the corner. Trapped, has to pass out. Finds Hinton. Right wing, Tripp. His first shot off the front of the iron and out.
And containing URI from three is one of those points of emphasis for Mike McPile, especially Tripp. He's a stretch forward player that can shoot from anywhere.
Reeves, top of the key, three, off the left of the iron. Rebound, Tripp. Tripp trying to push it in transition. Still 3-2 Fordham, 18-41 first half. Tripp on the left wing looking to score his first points against his former team. Kicks out to Cochran, drives inside, draws a foul on the floor before finishing a layup. It's going to be a baseline inbound from Rhodey's top scorer.
Looks like JMO's having some words with Tripp, old teammate there. Great to see that energy on senior day.
It's O'Toole v. Tripp off the inbound. They're looking his way, having trouble to get it in as Corey has to toss it into the backcourt, where Cochran will retrieve. 18 on the shot clock off of the foul. URI looking to regain an early lead. Cochran working on the bigger Akira Jacobs. Works left side, throws it up for Itijeri, who slams it down.
Itijeri is such a physical player. He's 6'9", 220. He's also a transfer from Northern Kentucky, and he really just gives them that stability in the perimeter, but also down low.
Other way, Fordham down 4-3, 18 minutes to play first half. Rika Schulta, his first offensive touch. On the low block, working inside, middle of the floor. Lefty hook shot, no good. Cochran will get the rebound. Cochran the other way, changing gears, inside, drives Schulta to the floor and finishes the lay. 6-3 URI, 17:40 to go. Reeves spinning near the URI bench, draws a blocking foul on Jonah Hinton, who was guarding. And Fordham will get its first substitutions of the game. Redshirt freshman Abbas Bodija coming off a career-high 19 points comes in, as well as senior Chris Henry in his senior day checking in. Jamison O'Toole will check out maybe his final minutes played as a Fordham Ram.
Awesome to see. JMO's one of those players that really just builds that culture that Mike McPile wanted. Again, he's longest tenured member of this program for a reason.
Jacobs, left wing, three is pure.
After Fordham going scoreless in the last minute and a half for Akira to knock down that three after a Marcus Green three. Again, Fordham won't kill you from beyond the perimeter, but they are timely.
Knotted at 6 through 2+ minutes. Tripp trying to change that. He hits a left wing three. Teams firing on all cylinders early. 9-6 URI through 3 minutes. Chris Henry, his first touch. Finds Day Reeves at the left wing. Looking back for Henry. Inside Bodija. Working on Tripp. Spinning. Hook shot. Off back iron and out. Schulta bats the rebound out of bounds. Last touch by Fordham. URI will have it.
URI doing such a good job of rotating that help defender over from that far side block to the near side block to really just suffocate down low, especially with such a tall player like Abbas Bodija.
Full court press look from Fordham. URI has no shortage of ball handlers, though. They'll get it up with ease. Miles Corey drops off a pass for Tyler Cochran, top of the key. Trying to expose a mismatch here on the bigger Akira Jacobs. Kicks it top of the key, Hinton. hitting at the nail, passes out. Cochran, left wing, 3, off front iron and out. Rebound, Rika Schulte.
Again, a point of emphasis for Mike McPile before the game, talking to him pre-game, was that they'll let them shoot from beyond the perimeter. They just want to own the paint like they did against LaSalle.
Schulte above the break, hands off for Reeves. Reeves trying to get an angle on it. Tijere loses the ball, goes to the floor, scramble for it. It's in the hands of Corey. He's writhing on the floor, and a jump ball, I believe, has been called. Indeed, it was.
Scrappy so far here, Joe. Very physical teams. Both of these teams are. Both Rams. Both of these teams are top 4 in the league in scoring defense. So, and Fordham's 19th in the country in scoring defense. Very physical teams.
Fordham will retain off the jump ball. 11 on the shot clock. Left side baseline inbound from Henry is tipped off the pass, goes back out of bounds. He'll do it again.
9 on the shot clock here. Got to get it in the paint if you're Fordham.
Henry finds Schulte, gets it back, right side corner, dumps off a pass. Schulte, 3, no good. Left side of the rim and out. Still 9-6 URI through 4 minutes. Corey dumps off a pass, hitting, watch out. His 3 off the mark. He takes over 8 a game. Long rebound finds Rika Schulte, who will slow things down for Fordham. Into the hands of Day Reeves. Behind the back dribble, splits 2 defenders, steps back, 10-footer. Swirls all around the iron and out. Would have been a pretty finish
Fordham
from the
getting
A-10's leading scorer. Trip the other way. Can't get the layup to go. Gets his own miss and puts it back up and in.
Jameer Tripp with that flex emotion down low after that tough bucket. Fordham getting good looks offensively, just can't take the lid off the basket.
Tripp with 5 early points against his former team. URI up 11-6, 15-20 to go. Bodija. Low block, spinning on Tripp, tied up, has to pass back out to Jacobs. 10 seconds for Reeves to work at the Fordham script maroon logo. Reeves splits 2 defenders all the way to the cup, off the glass with a finger roll.
Day being the highest scorer in the A-10, averaging over 18 points per game. He's almost doubled in every offensive possession. For him to split those 2 defenders, amazing.
Tripp on a 3. It was an air ball. It looked like it went in, but it was short. Hit off the net and down. Fordham the rebound. Henry the other way draws a foul on Keon Itijere, and that will bring us to our first media timeout. It's been an exciting one so far. 11-8 URI. Nathan, Fordham starting slow as we've seen so often on offense, but trying to carry on that offensive momentum that they had against LaSalle, where they scored 84 in what would be a loss.
And especially this game, too, it's all about defense. Last time out against URI, Fordham, their defense was their vocal point. They were so vocal on defense, and down the stretch in the last 5 minutes, they held them scoreless, and that's the reason why I went to OT. Roricore hit that bank-in 3 to force it to overtime. They ended up winning on the road. So for Fordham, it's all about defense in the last 3 days in practice for Mike McPile and Maroon and White. It's been defense and really just swarming in the paint. They'll let them shoot. URI's one of their last 5 in their last 3-pointers from beyond the arc. So not a terrible team from beyond the arc. They won't kill you from that end offensively, but Fordham doing a good job of taking what the defense will give them. They got to take the lid off the basket and let their playmakers do what they do best, especially Day. You know, Mike McPile talking about how he's doing with Ramadan and how that all comes together, but he's such a, he never complains. He's a coach's dream as a player, and he's the A-10 top scorer for a reason.
11-8 URI through 5. We'll step aside for just a moment and be right back. More Fordham men's basketball coming your way on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
14:47 left in the first half. 11-8 URI here in the regular season finale. Joe Henry, Nathan Rogers on hand. Let's take a look in at the coaching matchup for Fordham. First-year head coach Mike Magpayo coming over after 5 great years at UC Riverside in the Big West, doing what he did there here in the Bronx. A big turnaround for these Rams. Just this week, he was nominated for the Prosser Award for Integrity, named as a finalist among the Guardians of the Game Award for Inclusivity. Ironically, was ejected during the LaSalle loss on Wednesday, but a guy who, by all accounts, has done and said all the right things to get this program back on track. On the other hand, Archie Miller in year 5 with URI, longtime Dayton coach in the 2010s, coached at Indiana for a few years, then back to the A-10 with URI, 55-69 all time. Both these teams projected to finish in the bottom 4 of the standings. Each have already clinched a first-round bye, but there's more to play for. These teams are knotted in the standings. The winner will receive a better seat in the A-10 tournament next week. Return to play, Fordham will have it. Louis Lesmond checked into the game alongside Roar Core. Lesmond's pass goes inside to Bodijo, working middle of the floor, missing on the hook shot. Ball trickles out of bounds. URI will have it.
Kijere is one of those players where he can really play 1 through 5. He's a 6'9", 220 forward, really stretch forward player, and for him defensively to have that vocal point on offense as well, for Archie Miller, it's a coach's dream.
Keon Itijere, 7th in the conference in blocks. He's not the biggest big man, but he can jump with the best of them. Right wing, triple attempt, Harper, no good. Off near side of the rim, rebound finds Chris Henry, who will start the offense for Fordham. Henry pump fakes, drives inside, steps back, has to kick out Reeves. Thinks about a 3. Now he's going to probe, spin, step back, elbow J. Hit off the rim 4 times before popping out.
An unforgiving rim for Fordham this afternoon, Joe.
Harper the other way, draws a foul on the dribble drive. Henry reached in. Still 11-8 URI, 13-47 left first half. Right side baseline inbound coming for the Rhody Rams. Cochran will inbound, finds Hinton, curling, left corner, 3 is pure. URI back up by 6, 14-8.
Cochran's really the heartbeat of this URI team. Had a season high 34 versus Richmond, but he's a 7th-year guard. He was at Toledo Ball State in Northern Illinois, and he is just amazing. Defensively as well, he leads the A-10 in steals per game.
Second among all players in the nation in career steals. Henry, deep 3 off the front of the rim. Itijere snares the rebound for URI.
Mike Magpayo talked about Christian Henry's shot selection before the game, and this season it's been something he's struggled with. That was a shot from the parking lot early in the shot clock. Not what you want if you're maroon and white at home on senior day.
Other way, R.J. Johnson maneuvering the baseline. His pass goes off the foot of Roar Core and out of bounds. So URI will retain possession, 20 on the shot clock, 13:09 to go first half. Rhody up by 6 early.
Fordham sticking with man-on-man, something they also did last time out against URI. They switched to zone after they cut up man-to-man. Ball almost hit me in the face here, Joe.
I've never gotten a ball to go to the scorer's table. I got really excited for a moment.
For some reason, I didn't flinch, though. It was like Kobe, right?
Off the inbound, right, yeah. Hitting errant with his pass, nearly hit Nathan Rogers in the head. Would have been a spectacle. Instead, Fordham the other way off the turnover. Freshman Roar Core dumps off a pass for Reeves. Up top, Henry. Left side screen from Schulte. Looking for options, kicks it left side, Lesmond. Couple dribble moves on Harper. Lesmond having some trouble, getting inside, middle of the floor, and a foul called on Harper prior to any shot. Second team foul, rather the third now, for URI.
Both of these teams so just physical on defense. Again, URI sticking to that man-on-man as well, but something of note in the first 6 minutes here, Fordham without a turnover.
Off the inbound to Core, off the back of the rim, rebound retrieved with one arm by Louis Lesmond. Getting his first minutes in his final home game, the Harvard transfer, putting the finishing touches on a 5-year career. Reeves on the left side, 8 seconds to work, waiting for a screen from Schulte, goes right, is double teamed, 4 seconds, kicks it to the corner, Lesmond looking for space with 2, steps back, contested 3, is an air ball retrieved by Itijere. Ref pats the top of his head, that's a shot clock violation. More struggles early on for Fordham, just 8 points in the first 7 minutes and 36 seconds of play.
What URI is doing so well, Joe, is across the perimeter, they're just swarming on defense, for the Fordham offense. Day-Day, when he gets that pick, Ricka Schulte comes up, he takes that left side pick. They swarm up top, so he can't even get a pass over the defenders. Has to kick it out to Louis Lesmond for a tough step back three. It didn't even hit rim.
Johnson the other way for URI, finds a wide open man in the corner. His three-pointer no good. Alex Crawford off the rim, rebound retrieved by Cochran, and O'Board draws a foul from Henry, and URI will keep it.
Fordham scoreless in the last 3 minutes. They're 1 of 8 in their last 8 shots. For Fordham, it's really a momentum game for them. It's been a momentum in the last month and a half. Defense leads into offense for Mike Magpayo, maroon and white.
Trying to get a stop and initiate a scoring run here. Itijere off the inbound, top of the key, finds Cochran. Puts it on the floor, picks up his dribble. Right wing pass, Johnson. Inside Crawford, working on a core. Johnson double team briefly, has to kick it back out to Hinton. 5 to work. Cochran will pull the trigger on a left corner three, off the rim and out.
URI doing a good job across the perimeter, making that extra pass. Fordham just swarming defensively.
Still 14 to 8, 11:40 to go. Cochran got his hands on a pass to Akira Jacobs. They're going to say it glanced off of Jacobs' hand and out of bounds, so URI will get the turnover.
Fordham scoreless in their last 3.5 minutes. Again, this game has a lot of seeding implications. If Fordham does win, they'll get that 9 seed, so they'll play the 8, and if they do win that game, they would play the ever so looming anxiety of SLU. If they lose this game, if you're Fordham, if you lose this game, you're the 10 seed, so you would play the 7, which would move you away from SLU. So definitely not the end of the world if you're Mike Magpayo, if this game does get out of hand late, but definitely just want to focus on winning, and the momentum, again, is such a key factor for sports going into playoffs.
Fordham is going to challenge the ruling on the floor, see if they can get this overturned and retain possession. Regardless, it's 14 to 8 URI, 11:39 to go. We'll take a break. And for the first time today, check in with Colin Banks, who has a one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Recapping this week's NBA action, on Tuesday, the Phoenix Suns took care of the Sacramento Kings en route to a 114-103 win. The Los Angeles Lakers defeated the New Orleans Pelicans and spoiled Zion Williamson's return to the court in a 110-101 win. The Philadelphia 76ers were thrashed by the San Antonio Spurs in a disheartening 131-91 loss. A depleted Oklahoma City Thunder group narrowly escaped with a 116-108 win over the Chicago Bulls. Despite a late-game surge, the Memphis Grizzlies fell to the Minnesota Timberwolves in a 117-110 loss. The Miami Heat routed the Brooklyn Nets 124-98. The New York Knicks handled the Toronto Raptors with ease in a 111-95 win. The Charlotte Hornets stayed hot, steamrolling the Dallas Mavericks 117-90. The Donovan Mitchell-less Cleveland Cavaliers overcame the top of the East Detroit Pistons in a 113-109 win. Then the Orlando Magic cruised to a 126-109 win over the Washington Wizards off of the back of a 40-point third-point quarter. Then on Wednesday, the Los Angeles Clippers blew out the Indiana Pacers in a 130-107 win. The Atlanta Hawks looked to be getting back on track, defeating the Milwaukee Bucks 131-113, making that their 5th win in a row. The play-in hopeful Portland Trail Blazers beat the Memphis Grizzlies 122-114. On the second leg of a back-to-back, the Charlotte Hornets dismantled the Boston Celtics in a 118-89 win. The Utah Jazz fell in a 106-102 nail-biter against the Philadelphia 76ers. And lastly, the New York Knicks failed to mount a 15-point comeback in a 103-100 loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. You've been listening to the one-on-one scoreboard updates with Colin Banks.
Thank you, Colin. Back in the Bronx, Joe Henry, Nathan Rogers. 14 to 8 URI, 11:39 to go first half. Volume 79 of the Battle of the Rams. Rhodey leads the all-time series 43 to 35, but Fordham winners of 5 of their last 7 meetings. And there's some bad blood here too. Last year, Fordham won on a buzzer beater, got blown out exactly 364 days ago in the finale. Then 4 days later, crushed URI as the 15 seed in the tournament to end their season. This year, Valentine's Day heartbreak on the road. Fordham wins in unbelievable fashion in OT at URI. Rhodey still looking for that revenge from last season and now from this season as well. So far, they're getting a little bit of it.
Yeah, and Rhode Island coming off a great win against Duquesne last time around on Wednesday. They were down at half, but their defense completely changed the game in the second half, forcing turnovers, creating easy offense, and running a big night from Cochran, who finished with 21 points. URI only made 2 threes in that game, so if that was not a night where they shot the lights out. They won it with defense, free throws, and paint plus turnover production. Really, that was the math equation there, which tells you a lot about the style they want to play. Also, not to mention, they had 15 steals, Joe.
And today, so far, it's been the guy who was absent just under a month ago. Jamir Tripp, of course, 2 years at Fordham, up to 5 points early to lead all scorers either side. It feels like this team's a lot different when he's on the floor, and they really missed him when these teams met in the Ryan Center a few weeks ago.
100%. I think it starts with defense, Joe. Fordham shooting 23% after the first media timeout. It's not something Mike McPile wants from his Fordham Rams. And URI's owning the paint so far, offensively and defensively. They're outscoring them by 6 points so far in the paint. URI is, and really just locking everything down on those blocks.
Tripp has scored 10 or more points in 19 games this year. Rhodey is 13-6 when he does so. He only reached 10 points 12 times in 2 years and 61 games as a Ram. After the challenge, the call is not overturned, so URI will keep it. Hitting, right corner, 3, no good. Jacobs tracks down the rebound.
Lesmond went flying into the stands there after that pump fake. Didn't matter. URI missed the 3. Fordham will get a chance to end that scoring drought.
It's been nearly 4 minutes since the Rams' last bucket. Jacobs left wing. Schulte above the break, handoff for Henry. Trying to drive left side, double team, goes to the floor, a foul called on Johnson.
Christian Henry or Day-Day, whenever they're going across the timeline or even the perimeter, URI just swarming them completely, shutting the door with that drop coverage, but just getting them and pressing them so early. It's almost impossible to get anything down low, and that's kind of that pack line style defense for Archie Miller and his Rhodey Rams.
Subs for Fordham, the new 5, Day-Day Reeves, Rika Schulte, Akira Jacobs, Marcus Green, and Abbas Bodija. Reeves will trigger a near side inbound into Schulte, fakes the handoff, drives left side, deterred by Crawford, middle of the floor, kicks out, left wing, Green, 3, no good. Rebound URI.
Fordham getting a good look there, drawing that defender down low to open up the perimeter, just couldn't get it to go, Joe.
Rhodey trying to push it in transition, hitting right wing. He'll pull the trigger. Missed this one off to the right. Rebound Fordham. Still 14-8. Neither team has scored in 3 minutes.
Each team shooting below 25% from beyond the arc. URI shooting 18% from 3.
Nearly halfway underway in the first half here at Rose Hill. Green, left wing, 10 seconds to work. Trying to go in on Cochran. Kicks out to Reeves, step back, 14-footer is good, but an offensive foul called. He pushed off on R.J. Johnson, and they got him for it.
Mike McPile and the coaching staff not happy with that call, but I think, Joe, after last time around where McPile kind of argued an offensive foul, it didn't go his way.
I think you're referring to the time that Mike McPile was ejected from the game against LaSalle just 4 days ago after a no call on a Rika Schulte missed layup. This time he had some words for the official, but was pretty calm in his demeanor. Cochran left wing. Hitting inside, loses the ball, finds Alex Crawford on the right side. Crawford has 5 to work. He'll step back on Schulte, and he committed an offensive foul. And Rika Schulte is fired up about it. Put his elbow into his chest, and it's going the other way.
And how about that Baldo Light play here at Rose Hill? Fordham has a chance to redeem themselves again. Fordham scoreless, ticking over near 5.5 minutes, Joe, without a bucket.
The last time these two teams met, it was Fordham holding URI without a field goal for the last 10 minutes of the game. Last 5 of regulation and all of overtime to pull out a 70-66 win. Reeves the other way, trying to snap that skid. Up top, Green swings it left side. Jacobs finds Bodija in the corner. Back to Green at the Fordham logo. Green right wing looking for options. Takes a right side screen from Schulte. Double team. Kicks out Bodija. 8 seconds to work. Bodija's going to drive it himself on Cochran. He extends his arm. He loses the ball. Goes crashing to the floor. Another jump ball it looks like. And this one will go to URI. Fordham one of its last 9 field goals, Nathan, and that one a turnover.
Fordham has to weather this storm offensively if they want to stay in this game. The scoreless in the last 5.5 minutes for the Fordham Rams, can't find a bucket, and it's due to the URI defense. Again, they're top 4 in the A-10 for a reason, and they're doing such a good job of not even opening up any driving lanes, Joe.
The good news, URI hasn't scored now in 4.5 minutes itself. Fordham full court press causes some trouble. Ball gets up ahead to Tripp. Left wing, 3 is good. Jameer Tripp up to 8 points, as many as his old team has total. It's 17-8, and Fordham needs a timeout.
He's the highest scoring player on the hardwood this afternoon with 8 points. He was 1 of 3 from shooting now. He's 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. And again, Mike McPio talked about that was kind of the X factor, that they didn't really know how to adjust. They didn't play at him last time. Again, he loves playing at Rose Hill, but this is something that we talked about before the game. One of the keys of the game was don't trip. Nick Lewis didn't play at VCU the first time around. He injured himself in warm-ups at Rose Hill. When Fordham went to visit VCU, I was on the call for that one. Nick Lewis was playing, and he tore them up for almost 10 points in that first half. So Fordham needs to learn how to adjust to Tripp if they want to play down the stretch.
17-8 URI, 9:12 left in the first half. McPio talked about that specifically to us, that when you play a team for the second time and they have an impact player who was missing the first time but is in now, or was in the first time and is missing now, it really impacts your team's ability to game plan. The coaches obviously can scheme for it, but the players are familiar with the player playing one way. Use the example of Truth Harris, who on LaSalle was really a non-factor the first time they played. He did play, but he did pretty much nothing, and now suddenly has become this super high-usage guy, and it seemed like the players weren't ready for a guy who had changed his entire play style entirely. Reeves, other way, turns it over to Cochran. Lally-oop, no good off the dunk from Corey. Would have brought the house down. Scramble for the rebound will find Fordham.
My goodness, Joe, he flew in like an Avenger there. Missed it off the back iron on that dunk. Fordham will have a chance to redeem themselves again.
Out of nowhere, Green finds a back-cutting Jacobs. Reverse layup is good. The former Hawaii teammates connect. Reeves a steal, crashes into the stands and saves it for Green.
Rose Hill coming alive here. Day almost fell in someone's lap, but he gets the ball back. Fordham finding their energy, and the tide is shifting.
Unreal play by Reeves. Green the other way, rejected by Atijere, will stay with Fordham.
And Joe, how's that math equation for opening up the paint? Go to the baseline, reverse layup off the glass for Akira, that tall, almost 6'10" body that he has. For him to do that, great opening up and taking that lid off the basket.
Fordham trying to seize the momentum. Green off the inbound 3, no good off left iron. Rebound Cochran for URI. 17-10. Rhodey on top of Fordham. 8:10 to go, first half. Cochran probing, will kick it back out. Miles Corey, guarded tightly by Reeves, has to swing it right side. It's Tripp. Tripp, pump fake, gets Bodija, drives inside, draws the contact, and finishes! Jameer Tripp taken over, and he's all smiles against his former team.
Tripp with the and one there, so physical he is. Get that pump fake, get the defender in the air. Akira was too far gone at that point for him to finish that. He looks like a tight end out there playing basketball, and again, on senior day playing at Rose Hill, I can tell he just loves it. Got a smile on his face right now.
19-10 URI, 7:58 to go first half. Reminder, Fordham trailed pretty much the entire game against Rhode Island. The last time these two teams met, Fordham tends to start out slow, tends to come back in the game, so nothing unfamiliar here, but still some tough waters to traverse. Fordham trailing by 9 through 12 minutes. We'll step aside for a moment. Be right back with more Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Kurt Sippel, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Joe Henry, Nathan Rogers taking you inside the Rose Hill Gym for the final time of its 101st season. This historic building, the oldest D1 arena in the nation, playing host to Fordham and URI, and so far it's all URI. 19-10 Rhodey through 12 minutes of play. Nathan, it's Jamir Tripp, the former Fordham player, taking over in a way we never saw him did when he wore the maroon. Now in the navy of URI, 10 points to lead all scorers. He doubles the next highest scorer in Akira Jacobs. 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3 rebounds. He's played 11 minutes to lead all players. He's doing it all.
Yeah, and it's simple, Joe. He wants that legacy game. He had 24 against Dane, the OT winner that they had, one of their best games all season, and he's often used as a defensive stopper, but he's also a solid rebounder. Again, can guard 1 through 5, but his ability to have that 3, that's the reason why he just got that and 1. He got that defender in the air with a pump fake from beyond the arc, drove in through the lane, off the glass, and look, Jamir Tripp's one of those players where he's from Brooklyn. He knows how to play New York basketball. He's a gritty player. He's 6'6", 230. Again, he looks like a tight end out there. Could probably play football. So if Fordham wants to play down the stretch, again, the lead is kind of slipping away for Fordham. Again, URI owning the game so far, 10.5 minutes so far that they've owned this game. And Fordham, after the first media timeout, they were shooting 23% from the field. Again, they're shooting the same percent. They had that good baseline drive from Akira. Marcus Green tried to do the same thing. He got rejected. So URI just kind of catching on to their game plan so far. It's going to be a game of defense and also turnovers, Joe. Fordham's already up to 5. Here's a little nugget for listeners out there. URI is top 30 in the country in turnovers forced per game and top 10 in the country in opponent turnovers per play. That's better than their neighbors in New York, St. John's, and even teams like Houston and Gonzaga.
They've turned Fordham over 5 times so far today. Schulte inside off a made Tripp free throw. It's 20-10 URI. Reeves, a triple to cut into the deficit.
Nothing but nylon there for the top scorer on the A10.
20-13, 7:30 to go. Tripp, top of the key. He'll try another. Off the right of the iron, a heat check from Jamir. Rams the other way. Henry double teamed off the screen, finds Schulte. Tied up by Tripp. He took the ball away from him. A clean pickpocket from Jamir Tripp. Rhodey the other way. Johnson driving right side. Has the ball tipped by Reeves. Able to recover. Kicks out to Corey. Driving right side baseline. Pass goes off of the shoulder of Rika Schulte. Out on the baseline. Will stay with Rhodey.
Ball's flying everywhere here today in Rose Hill. It's a scrappy game of defense. Jamir Tripp taking that ball away. He knows these players too well. He knows how to play at Rose Hill. That is for sure.
Baseline inbound, left side of the basket for Rhode Island. R.J. Johnson will trigger. First in the Atlantic 10 in assist-to-turnover ratio. Lobs a pass into Miles Corey, kicks it left side. Cochran, he'll settle for a 16-footer. Hits all parts of the iron and goes out. Fordham with it, down by 7. 7 minutes to go, first half. Akor, left corner, cutting inside, kicks it out. Jacobs, ball's tipped and stolen by Cochran. Another steal from Tyler Cochran, who leads the entire conference in that category.
That's Fordham's 7th turnover here for Mike McPow. His dream is to keep his own turnovers under 10 and to force more than 10. Keep an eye on the turnover margin.
Not tracking well so far. Tripp, top of the key. 3 is good. Tripp's 3rd triple puts it back up to a 10-point game.
My goodness, can't leave him open from beyond the arc.
23-13, 6:15 to go first half. Reeves working left side baseline, steps back, kicks out. Schulte on the left wing. Handoff for Reeves, probing, kicking out. Henry thought about a 3. Kicks corner, Jacobs 3. Too strong, rebound, Schulte. Fordham another chance. It's 4th offensive rebound of the day so far.
Again, Schulte is top 12 in the country in offensive rebounding.
Henry having some trouble with it, kicks out to Akor. Back to Henry, 10 seconds for Fordham to work. Left side, Reeves. Reeves with 5. Reeves probing, stepping back, stepping in, drawing the foul on the baseline. A 2-point attempt from 18 feet will get him 2 free throws. The first for Fordham all game.
Yeah, Fordham not so good at getting in the line, getting at the charity stripe, getting that easy profit off the charity stripe. They're bottom 15 in the country in total percent of points from free throws. And last time around against LaSalle, only 9% of their total points came from the line, whereas LaSalle Rob Dockery went to the line more than the team shot field goals in the last 5 minutes.
Reeves' first free throw is good, shooting an 85% clip on the year. Fordham, for a long time, was last in the entire country in free throw rate. That's how often they get to the line. But they had taken 20 or more free throws in 5 straight games until the LaSalle game where they only took 9.
Akira will check out. Abbas Bodija will check in now.
As Reeves readies for his second. Spins the ball, 2 dribbles, and up. It's good. 8-point game, 23-15, 5:45 to go, first half.
Again, Joe, Fordham sticking with that 1-2-1 Fordham full court press. It's something that started an offensive run for them, and they'll go back to it.
And there's a backcourt violation as Tripp's pass misses the left hand of Miles Corey, trickles into the full court, and as Corey recovers, the whistle blows, and Fordham will force its 4th turnover.
Fordham kind of finding their groove here in the last 2 minutes defensively. That full court press for Mike McPow, that 1-2-1 really puts pressure out on the perimeter across the timeline, forces a backcourt turnover, so Fordham will have an opportunity to cut the lead down.
Henry working it right to left for Fordham. 5:20 to go first half. Rams trail by 8. Now with Reeves at the Fordham logo. Working with Bodija. Pass inside to him. Hop step. Loses the ball in the paint. Scramble for it. The buzzer sounds. It's another shot clock violation and another turnover for the Rams.
Abbas Bodija with that pound dribble hop step in that paint, but it was all Rhodey Rams in the paint swarming him, and that help defense is something that Archie Miller really prides himself in. That pack line style defense really just allows nothing for driving lanes and really just makes life so difficult for Fordham.
Full court press look, as you mentioned, coming from Fordham. They've run it all game long. Not something they did a lot to start 8-10 plays, but they started doing it more. Ball into Cochran. Works it all the way to the right side baseline, other end of the floor. Now in the corner, kicks it to Hinton. His 3 off the back of the iron from the left wing.
Brody Rams
the rebound.
Passing the ball around like it's a hot potato, but nothing too new for Fordham Rams.
Henry full speed ahead, misses wildly on the layup, too strong. Cochran the rebound. Up ahead to Hinton, thinks about another 3. Pump fake, drive inside, met by 3 defenders. The ball is tipped and taken away. Henry on the ground wrestling with Tripp. Another jump ball, the 4th of the day, is going to give it to Fordham.
A lot of bodies hitting the hardwood this afternoon at Rose Hill. Both these teams just really want it, and you can see it on paper. It's for seeding implications and that momentum going into the A-10 tournament next week. So for Fordham, 1 of their last 5 from the field, and nothing has been falling really from three-pointer, but it's been all defense so far here at Rose Hill.
We'll talk more about it. Loser of this game gets the 10 seed. The winner gets the 8 or the 9. So far, URI up 23-15, 4:25 to go first half. Henry, hedged off of a screen, will probe inside, met at the cup, misses on the shot, rebound Bodija, goes up, gets fouled, and will go to the line for 2.
Looks like a whole pack of wolves down there in the paint, everyone swarming. Maroon and white were there for her help. Abbas Bodija will go to the line, get that easy profit off the charity stripe. Again, Fordham now in the bonus. Something to keep an eye on the last 4.5 minutes.
Fordham has struggled at the line this season, just 69.4% as a team, but Bodija has been very good, 77%, as he's nothing but net on his first. Had a career-high 19 points against LaSalle, 6 rebounds as well, but struggled defensively in what was Fordham's worst adjusted defensive output of the year, considering that LaSalle is the worst offense in the conference. Bodija makes it on his second as well. 6-point game, closest it's been in some time, 23-17, 4:14 left first half.
Abbas Bodija is one of those players that's really been solidifying himself as a deserver of that starting 5. He was out of the starting lineup to begin the season, but he's really been solidifying himself as a physical player down low.
Reeves will check out of the game, so a crucial stint here for Fordham as it drops into its 2-3 for the first time today. Tripp at the nail, bounce pass, picked off by Akor. Into the hands of Bodija. Fordham the other way with some momentum now.
Another forced turnover for Mike McPio and the Fordham Rams. Got to get these points off turnovers.
Akor left wing feeds inside Schulte. Low block working on Tripp. Passes out Henry. Wide open 3 is good. Chris Henry cuts it to 3.
Nothing but nylon splash there for Christian Henry, and he's got a shoot mentality. Doesn't matter if he's 1 of 5, 1 of 10, he'll make a 3.
Hitting pulls from NBA range off back iron and out, and Henry's going to push it in transition again. Fordham with a ton of momentum, can tie. Henry looking for options, finds a core. Into Reeves, left side. Backing down, Drissa Traore getting his first minutes. Louis, 3, top of the key, rattles in. Off, back, front, up, and in for the Frenchman.
Fordham with a 10-0 run in the last 3.5 minutes. Joe Rosehill on their feet as I am, and it's coming together here. It's a tie game against URI. This feels like a playoff game already here at Rosehill.
In some ways it is. 10-0 run for Fordham. Last 3:23 draws us even at 23 in the final game of the regular season. We'll step aside for just a moment and check in one more time with Colin Banks, who has another one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Looking at the NBA's Thursday action, the Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray duo led the Denver Nuggets to a 120-113 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers. In the battle of mid that was the New Orleans Pelicans at the Sacramento Kings, the Kings fell in a 133-123 loss. The Chicago Bulls started their West Coast road trip with an exhilarating 105-103 win over the Phoenix Suns. The Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Toronto Raptors 115-107 in cross-conference play. The San Antonio Spurs remain a strong contender in the West with a convincing 121-106 win against the Detroit Pistons. The Miami Heat met the Brooklyn Nets for the second time this week in a 126-110 win. An injured Golden State Warriors group came out on top against the Houston Rockets in a close 115-113 win. The Orlando Magic beat the Dallas Mavericks 115-114, and in a battle of potential top 5 pick getters, the Utah Jazz beat the Washington Wizards 122-112. You've been listening to the one-on-one scoreboard updates with Colin Banks.
Under 4 mark in the first half. It's 23-all with 3:08 left. Fordham and URI knotted. Game 18 of 18 here in the Atlantic 10's 50th season, with so much up for grabs. Couple teams that joined the conference back in 1995, 31 years ago, and they've shared some crazy battles over the years. This one will decide who plays when next Thursday in round 2 of the A10 tournament. And so far, Nathan, they're playing like it. Fordham out to a really slow start, 8 points in its first 8 minutes, was down by 10. Suddenly, in 3 minutes' time, they're all the way back even.
And again, that's what A10 basketball is. It's built on runs. And even assistant coach Phelps, who won a natty at UNC, he said if you go on that 10-0 run in that second half or in that first half, the tide shifts, and it really just gives you that home court advantage that A10 really just prides themselves in. But Joe, Fordham not leading the game for even 60 seconds. So it's knotted here at 23 with 3:08 remaining. And Fordham getting some help from their bench. They got 8 bench points. Again, Christian Henry coming off the bench really helping them, and they live and die with him playing well or not playing well. So 0 points for URI off the bench as well. It's only been the starting 5 and basically a trip legacy game here at Rosehill.
It's Johnson, Hinton, Crawford, Itijere, and Cochran in for URI out of the break. They have the ball. Itijere feeds inside to Crawford. Double team, passes out Hinton. Closed out hard, has to probe inside. Kicks it right corner. Cochran will pull the trigger and kill a 3.
Fordham opening after that timeout with zone defense, so they'll stray away from the man-on-man and give a new look for URI. They knock down the 3, but nonetheless, it is a zone defense for Mike McPie on the Rams.
URI back out in front, 26-23, 2:30 to go first half. Henry, Bodija, Schulte, Lesmond, and Akor, the 5 for the Rams. Schulte will have it far side, low block. Working inside on Itijere. Schulte spins baseline, hook shot, misses off the rim. Hung there for a while and went out. URI the other way. Cochran trying to add to their lead. Kicks it to Hinton at the logo. Hinton won for his first 6 from 3. Cochran, left wing, misses on another triple. Rebound snared by Roracor.
Cochran's 2 of 6 from the field. He's a really sharp shooting marksman in the A10 for Fordham to hold him to only 5 points so far. A player that really tore up SLU last time around for them. Great to see for Mike McPie on his Rams.
Other way, Henry tried for a no-look pass inside. It was picked off with ease, and Rhode Island's moving it the other way. Turnover number 9 for Fordham. Johnson, left elbow extended, working on Louis Lesmond. Finds Hinton top of the key, working on the bigger Schulten. Now Lesmond switched on him. 5 to work for Hinton. Hinton drives, free throw line, steps through, travels with it, and they're going to whistle him. Went for the step through. His left foot was his pivot. He extended the right and then lifted up his left as well.
Got too excited there with that open shot, Joe. Fordham really just finding their groove on defense and playing with confidence. Forcing turnovers is something that if Fordham Rams are forcing 2 or 3 and 4 on that 10-0 run turnovers, they are, and really just gives them that little engine they could on
URI
defense.
is 15-8 when they force more turnovers than they commit. 1-8 when they do not. They're up by 2 in that category now. Henry, 3, no good from the left wing. Rebound Corey, he's going to push it out of the break. Crawford, left wing. Back up top to Corey. Fordham able to set its defense back to man here for the final 50 seconds of the first half. URI trying to add to a 3-point lead. Corey, double teamed off a screen. Pass deflected by Reeves into the hands of Schulte. A steal. Schulte will move it up ahead. Drops off a pass for Lesmond.
Another first turnover. That's URI's 8th turnover of the game.
Bodija cutting, finishing with some spin off the window. It's a 1-point game. 26-25, 31.1 to go in the first half. Shot clock will not turn off, but this could be the final possession here for Rhode Island. Clinging to a 1-point lead that was once 10. Ball into R.J. Johnson. He will walk it slowly up the floor.
Fordham with defenders right below the 3-point line. Only one player, Ricka Schulte, in the paint. So they'll dribble this ball out, look for a screen up top. URI will, as a set play will happen, but Fordham just swarming the perimeter.
Less than a second separating shot and game clock. It's down to 5. Cochran, left wing with 3. Dumps off a pass. Johnson defended well. Corner 3 is good at the buzzer to send URI to the half, up by 4.
R.J. Johnson, he's URI's main table setter for a reason. Although he averages 3.5 assists per game, and his assist to turnover ratio is one of the best in the A-10. He's really just a sharpshooter guard, graduate student and from North Carolina. But look, it's been all Fordham Rams in the last 5.5 minutes, Joe, and it really started with that 10-0 run before that last timeout. URI owning the paint so far, and Fordham only leading the game, not even for 60 seconds, but still in it. They ended up getting the bonus with 4 minutes remaining in the first half. The rebounding margin went up for the Fordham Rams. It was about even, but they're owning the glass so far. If Fordham wants to stay in this game, they're going to need more firepower and strength in numbers. Schulte really has been kind of a non-factor offensively. Can't get anything going off that hook shot. Same thing with Bodija, although he did get to the line. Fordham will have to do better job in transition. 0 fast break points so far for Fordham, really. And Schulte has really just been locked down by Tripp down low in that nearer far side block.
Fordham closes out the first half on a 12-5 run. Rhode Island had 10 points in the paint early and were dominant in that category. They did not score a single point in the paint since, and Fordham will take a little bit of momentum into the break. They called it a 2 from R.J. Johnson, said he had his toe on the line, so call it a 3-point game. 28-25 URI over Fordham. Halftime for the last time from the Rose Hill Gym. Teams hitting the locker room. We'll head to the Rose Hill Studios in the Bronx, New York, where Mary Hawthorne and Colin Banks have your one-on-one halftime report.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Good afternoon and welcome to WFUV Sports one-on-one halftime show. I'm Mary Hawthorne, joined by my in-studio co-host Colin Banks this Saturday, March 7th. It's a Battle of the Rams this afternoon as the Fordham Rams take on the University of Rhode Island Rams in the historic Rose Hill Gym. This last home game of the year is certainly an exciting one. The Rams have really come back in these last 5 minutes. The score at halftime is 28-25 Rhode Island in favor of Rhode Island. Much festivity is in the air in in the Rose Hill Gym as the Fordham men's basketball team celebrates its annual Senior Day. The 5 graduating seniors include number 17, Jameson O'Toole, number 77, Louis Lesmond, number 2, Day Reeves, number 30, Christian Henry, and number 4, Marcus Green. Been a tough battle so far as game 31 of the A10 season. To segue, the Rams went on a 10-0 run within 3.5 minutes of the last 5 minutes of the game. The momentum is certainly coming back. Colin, I'll pass it over to you. What are your thoughts on the energy of this Senior Day finale?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely been a spirited performance out there, especially in the latter half of the first half. They've been outworking Rhode Island on the boards, offensive, defensive boards. They have an 18-15 advantage there. But it would be nice to see if they could get out on the fast break, capitalize on second chance opportunities. They're slowly putting it together, but it's just not quite there yet. But they looked good coming into the half.
Completely. I think it's crazy to think that the Fordham Rams were only scoring 8 points within the first 8 minutes of the game. But definitely in the last 5 minutes, they've really turned it around. I think that contributes to the spirit of this team, but also the spirit of the Rose Hill Gym in celebrating senior night. But something before that I thought was interesting to mention was Coach Magpayo said that he hopes the team, quote, never forgets the way they competed tonight, as this is, a huge game finale for the season, just 4 days away from the A10 tournament. Tough battle for the Rams, obviously, as we've said. But do you think there's still room for a comeback here? Do you think this momentum is really going to pick up?
Yeah, I definitely think they do. I actually think they do come back and win this game. They have to limit their turnovers, though. 9
Definitely.
Turnovers in the first half. That's not something we want to see. And then they're also just they're not really capitalizing off of turnovers. Only 7 points off of 8 turnovers. And then steals and blocks, they haven't been great in that category either. So they definitely need to pick up the pace and keep shooting threes. I think they've been solid beyond the arc, 5 for 14 there. That's good for 36%. So, if they keep attacking from outside, play harder, keep that advantage on the boards, yeah, I think they can definitely come out with a win.
Completely. Something Joe said before was firepower, and I think that's the perfect word. Like, that is what's needed here. And I think that, like you said, I think they can do it and really turn it around here. Number 2, Day Reeves, A10's leading scorer. He's been playing a powerful game, dominant offensively and defensively. We know him as a dominant defenseman. He's 28th in the NCAA in steals, which is an amazing stat. I'm curious what your thoughts were, Colin, about his performance thus far and maybe what the defense should be doing within this later half.
He's been solid so far, but he's really been one of the only guys putting up real numbers on offense thus far. 7 points as their leading scorer. 25 points and a half. They need to pick it up offensively. They're only shooting, I believe, 32% from the field, which obviously is not going to cut it. And then defensively, down the stretch, I thought they looked really good defensively. If they hadn't come out of the gates so lackluster, they'd probably be winning this game. Defensively, I like what they're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. But offensively, yeah, there's a lot of holes there to fill. Hopefully, Day Reeves can, get maybe a little more on track. He is 2 for 5 thus far, but maybe shoot the ball more.
Definitely. And another player we were talking about in studio as the first half progressed was Rieke Schulte. He had about 4 offensive rebounds today. Obviously, we need more from him offensively. It's clear URI is really owning the paint. The Rams are behind, but I think in regards to him, couldn't agree more with what you said. Really just needs to be more aggressive, more dominant, both defensively and offensively in regards to firepower and how to progress and come back in the next half of this game.
Yeah, 7 boards at the half for Schulte, but main thing is they have to limit Jameer Tripp on Rhode Island. He's shooting
Definitely.
5 for 9 right now.
Definitely.
He's doing whatever he wants. He's 3 for 6 from 3. If they can hone in on him, and then they've been solid on the glass. They're out rebounding Rhode Island, like we said. Offensively, they're doing well on the offensive glass. They haven't been capitalizing on those opportunities per se, but I think the key to winning this game is more so just shutting down Jameer Tripp on the 3-point line and then just shoring up the paint, which I think they've done well, actually.
Definitely. And it's crazy to think that the last time they met, about a year ago, it was the game of the year. This definitely is a long-winded rivalry between Fordham and URI, especially that it is the season finale, adding to the pressure, but also just 4 days away from the A10 tournament. So I think the fact that this is the final matchup on senior night is an especially exciting game. And maybe that contributed a little bit to the pressure within the first quarter even.
Yeah, probably. That's a lot of pressure.
But
it's a lot of pressure to go for your first winning season in 3 years. I mean, especially under a new coach. But I think these guys want to do it for their new coach and obviously for their teammates who this is going to be their last game. Last game at Rose Hill.
Completely. And I think even head coach Magpayo's points in the pregame interview really just shows how much this means to not only him but the entire team. The fact that they've been able to really turn it around with this entirely new staff, a lot of new players, some transfers. It's especially exciting, but all the more pressure. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how the next half of this game progresses.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, like we said, just keep hammering them on the 3-point line, stay strong in the paint, and I think that's the recipe for success.
Definitely. And then before we wrap up our one-on-one halftime show, Colin, just have one more question for you. Obviously, this is game 31 of the A10 season. Really exciting. URI and Fordham, Battle of the Rams, both of which have similar scores this season. What do you think is the key for the Rams to win this game?
Honestly, the key would just be shut down Jameer Tripp. I mean, they have been doing an excellent job on everybody else on URI. I mean, Cochran 2 for 6. Hinton 1 for 6. Nobody else is shooting, especially well. It's really been one guy pushing their offense. So, I mean, if you can, cut it off from the source, then I think that's definitely the winning recipe.
Definitely. I think very well said. But that will be just about it for our one-on-one halftime show. Thank you, Colin, for your remarks. And thank you to Kurt in studio for helping make this production last. We will be back after the game. Sorry, I felt like I was just looking outside. You were so out of place. Okay, thanks. No, you were great. You were great. I thought that we were going to last longer. So when I saw it said 7 minutes. No, yeah. When I saw we had 3 minutes left, I was like, oh my God. That was awesome.
Like, I can yap for a little bit. It goes so far.
Completely. I felt the same.
Was.
So it was good we hit 10 minutes.
I don't think they're
Hey, what's up? It's Owen Kelty, one of WFUV Sports' New York Knicks beat reporters. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks look to dominate the East and bring a championship back to New York. Keep up all season long on my X account at Owen Kelty for all the highs and lows of New York Knicks basketball. WFUV Sports is your home for all things Knicks.
Hi everyone, I'm Grace McCarran and I'm one of your 2025-26 New York Islanders beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow me on X at Grace McCarran _ for live game updates, features, and other inside content from the island all season long. From the development of first overall pick Matthew Schaefer to incredible saves by Ilya Sorokin, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Isles look towards the postseason. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
Hey everyone, it's Lydia Perner.
And Grace McCarran.
And we are two of your hosts for 5 on 3.
WFUV's best, if only, hockey podcast.
With all the storylines in the tri-state area, you won't want to miss an episode.
How will Matthew Schaefer fit in with the Islanders?
And will the Rangers have a bounce-back season under Mike Sullivan?
Finally, will the Devils be able to stay healthy and hit their full potential?
Stick with us all season for all things NHL and Will Cooley updates on WFUV Sports.
Thank you to Mary and Colin, getting set for the final 20 minutes of the regular season here in the Rose Hill Gym on the campus of Fordham University, where Rhode Island leads Fordham 28-25 in the Battle of the Rams. Joe Henry joined by Nathan Rogers. It was all URI to start, but a 10-0 Fordham run drew things even at 23. One possession game at the half. URI is 8-0 this year when leading at the break. Fordham trying to change that, Nathan. This team's no stranger to the comeback.
Oh, for sure. And for Fordham, they're really a momentum team. We've talked about it time and time again, but it's been written in stone so far for Fordham. That run opening up the second half is something that helps them stop the bleeding so they can come back and for a comeback win. And that 4-game win streak they had earlier this month, or last month, they were down 11 last time against LaSalle. They opened up with a 10-0 run. They ended up losing that game, but it really etched them back into that box score. Down by 10 at St. Joe's, they ended up winning that one as well. Last time against URI, they're actually down by 6 at half as well. So they're no stranger to being down at half and opening up with those offensive runs. And half of each team's field goals coming from beyond the arc. But both URI and Fordham only making about 30% of those threes. So each team has been protecting the paint very well and cutting off those driving lanes and really just suffocating everything in and out of the painted area. So for Fordham, it's really just going to be, can I make more buckets than them? And I need that 1-800 call Day. I need a bucket.
Well, it's been two different scoring styles for these two sides. On URI, it's been a one-man show, and it's the one guy who wasn't there the last time these teams played. That's Jamir Tripp, who played his first 2 years with Fordham. In his third year, goes to an A-10 rival in URI. He's got 14 of URI's 28 points, 50% of them. No one else has more than 5, even though there's 5 other scores on the Fordham side. Day Reeves, of course, leading the way. He's got 7, but that's the most, and everyone else is kind of chipping in from there. 6 other scores, no one above 5. So by committee for Fordham, one-man show for URI. The Rams have done well, Fordham that is, to kind of stymie the other team's best scoring option typically in games, but it's this exact prototype of player that has given Fordham a lot of trouble this season. Jamir Tripp, kind of a big guard, versatile, can get inside, be a bruiser, but also can stretch the floor and shoot, can step back in the mid-range, can do a little bit of everything. That's been a size mismatch, and Fordham just doesn't really have the answers.
Yeah, that 6'6 frame is something they've been struggling with all season. We saw it last time around against Rob Dockery, same kind of build as well, and sort of same type of player. True, they crash the boards, they really can get out on the perimeter, guard 1 through 5, can shoot from anywhere on the court. So Tripp's a very dynamic player, a physical wing with a strong frame, again, who can guard 1 through 5, but he's a slashing scorer who likes to attack the rim very violently. So keys to the game for Fordham leading into the second half is, again, don't trip. You got to contain him. And for Fordham, got to open up the perimeter, take that lid off the basket, change the temperature of this game. Again, you're playing with house money. Not the end of the world if you do lose this game, but each team here fighting for momentum heading into the A-10 tournament.
URI will get the ball out of the break moments away from the start of the second half. Jamir Tripp into R.J. Johnson to start us off. URI moving it right to left. Tyler Cochran, Keon Itijere, and Jonah Hinton joining them. For Fordham, it's Chris Henry, Rika Schulte, Abbas Bodicha, Akira Jacobs, and Day Reeves. Hinton gets his first touch at the logo. Really slow start for him. 1 of 6 from the field and from 3, plus a turnover. R.J. Johnson double teamed deep on the left side of the wing. Kicks it out to Cochran. Right wing triple. No good. Rebound batted by Chris Henry into the hands of Day-Day Reeves. A stop on the first possession for Fordham. Reeves up ahead to Bodija. Kicks back out to Henry. Rams looking to start with the score. Henry maneuvering the left side of the floor. Bounce pass finds Reeves in the corner. Finds a cutting Bodija. Loses it on the low block. Goes to the floor, scrambling for it. Tied up with Tripp. It's going to be the 5th jump ball of the game. It's going to go Fordham's direction.
5th jump ball of the game, Joe, but also I think 5th jump ball that Tripp has accounted for. He's been on the floor almost every defensive possession, really just locking down everything, making life so difficult for a Boss Bodija on that low block. Again, Rhode Island sticking with that man-on-man defense.
Yeah, Bodija's lost the ball a lot. Akira Jacobs loses the ball. Cochran pokes it away. Up ahead to Hinton. Hinton is fouled by Jacobs as he goes to the cup, and he will get 2 shots at the stripe to get the scoring started here in the second half.
0 fast break points for both of these teams so far. Both teams really struggle in transition. If Fordham wants to hang in there with the URI Rams, they're going to have to find something in transition, get out across the timeline, and really make URI run.
Tyler Cochran with only 5 points so far on 2 of 7 shooting, but with 3 steals to his name as Hinton hits the first 4-point game. 2.7 steals a game, tops in the conference. He's second among all players in the country in steal percentage and in career steals. He is now just 4 steals away from tying the URI single-season steals record, wreaking havoc on the defensive end and creating points the other way. Hinton hits on both free throws, 30-25 through a minute here in the second half. Henry with the keys. Looking for options, finds a core. Left corner, passes out to Reeves. At the M of the script Fordham logo, Reeves moves towards his right. Picks up his dribble, kicks back out to Henry with 10 to work. Drives middle of the floor, steps back, 14-footer is good.
Christian Henry backs down his defender, spin move, get that separation, attack that top foot of the defender. Any room for separation in the painted area for Christian Henry is a bucket.
Back to a 3-point game early on second half. Hinton sidesteps to his left, misses wildly on a 3. And it's going the direction of Fordham out of bounds.
Hinton and Cochran, 2 of the purest shooters on this team, and probably in the top 20 in shooting in the A10 off the eye test. But Hinton and Cochran only have 5 each, so they'll combine for 10 points. Hinton's 1 of 7 from the field, and Cochran's 2 of 7. So Fordham really locking them down from the perimeter.
Hinton hit on a program record tying 9 threes when URI took down number 18 SLU a couple weeks ago right after the Fordham loss. Fordham with it, Schulte maneuvering inside, pretty hop step and a finish.
My goodness, the German product doing the Euro step across the painted area, getting that separation from his defender, going up, making an easy 2.
1-point game, 30-29 through 2+ in the second half. Tripp, right wing, 3 is good. Jameer Tripp hits his 4th triple, and he's got 17 of URI's 33 points.
My goodness, the Brooklyn prodigy, former Fordham Ram, up to 17. Again, his season high is 24 versus Dayton. That was an overtime game as well. Not even scratching under 17 minutes here in the second half. Tripp's already up to 17 on 6 of 10 from the field.
Other way, Reeves splits 2 defenders top of the key, drives inside towards the right, draws a foul from Keon Itijere. They're actually going to credit it to RJ Johnson. Regardless, 2 free throws impending for Reeves. Reeves 2 of 2 on the day at the line. Fordham as a unit has only taken 4. They've hit on each. URI has taken just 3. Reeves makes on the first. Bit of a switch up after a LaSalle game that had a lot of free throws. For there to have been barely any so far between Fordham and URI, but that's kind of their play styles. Fordham never gets to the line and really plays a disciplined brand of basketball defensively. URI does get to the line a decent amount, but not today so far. Clearly a point of emphasis for Fordham. Reeves hits on the second as well. Back to a 2-point game, 33-31, 17-25 to go. Cochran above the break, working on Schulte, driving left side, slips, drops off a pass to Itijere, guarded by Schulte, misses on the put-up. Then snared down by Schulte.
Schultz and a boss down low with that Statue of Liberty figure. Again, those hands up high, staying vertical is something, point of emphasis for Mike McPile and his bigs down low.
Fordham looking for its first lead since it was 3-2. Henry lobs a pass inside for Bodija. Reverse layup is good. And the Rams are back out in front.
Abbas Bodija switching gears there on that baseline, stepping through his defender with that gather step under the basket. Reverse layup, and how about that Tom Brady-like throw from Christian Henry, top 10 in assists for a reason in the A-10.
We are tied at 33, my apologies. We'll have to wait a little longer for Fordham to break back into the lead. Hitting, falling away, and hitting from the corner.
And right when you think you have momentum at Rose Hill, it's not as easy as it looks for the Fordham Rams. Rhodey Rams just hitting everything from beyond the arc in the last 3 minutes.
Left corner, Akor airballs it short. URI the rebound.
Looked like Tripp got a hand on that ball there, forced the air ball.
35-33 Rhodey so far. Itijere inside, off the glass rim and out. Great defense and a rebound from Rika Schulte.
Good offense, better defense for Fordham.
2-point game through 4 minutes in the second half. Reeves open, right wing three, off the glass and out. Bodija, the O-board, spinning baseline, missing. Tip in from Schulte, can't get it. He crashes to the floor as Jamir Tripp comes up with it.
My goodness, Joe. Simon says jump, jump, jump. About 4 jumps there for Schulte. Couldn't get the putback. Couldn't fall, so Fordham just not really connecting on those second chance opportunities. Abbas Bodija slipped through the defender, but Schulte couldn't get the putback.
Rhodey by 2, 15-22 to go. 35-33 the score. Johnson, pass inside, picked off by Akor. The freshman with the steal, up ahead to Henry. Henry looking for a 3, passes out to Reeves, and Rhode Island will be able to set its defense.
How about Roar Akor? After missing an airball 3, looks like prime Jalen Ramsey intercepting that pass cross court in the paint.
Reeves cuts inside and is fouled in the middle of the floor, and will take us to the media break. Back and forth start for these two teams as it's been all game long. Rams trying to break a 146 scoreless drought, but the defense holding up the last couple minutes here.
Fordham scoreless in the last almost 2 minutes, 1 of 5 in their last 5 shots. You know, really just scratching, finding anything they can offensively, but it's really going to be a story of the second chance points. If they miss that first shot, you got to crash the boards and make life way harder for URI than it has to be.
Jamir Tripp up to 17 points for Rhodey. Day Reeves with 9 for Fordham. 2-point game, 15:05 to go. It's 35-33. We'll step aside for just a moment and be right back with more Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are 2 of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every room. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
(35-33) Rhode Island. Joe Henry, Nathan Rogers back in the Rose Hill Gym for the final time this season. It's senior day. Marcus Green, Louis Lesmond, Jamison O'Toole, Chris Henry, and Day Reeves each playing in their final home basketball game and trying to make it a memorable one, and we're lining up for a memorable finish, Nathan. It's 35-33, Rhodey on top of Fordham, but this game far from over.
But again, it's a tale of 2 halves for Fordham, especially in the last month and a half. They've been down time and time again at halftime, and coming out of the gates hot and keeping your foot on the accelerator is something that Mike McPile wants as a point of emphasis. Fordham out shooting the URI Rams so far in the second half, although only 5 minutes have passed. 42%, almost 43% from the field, better than what they were shooting in the first half. It was almost 28% or 23%, if that, for about 10 minutes in the first half. And they're also owning the glass. Schultz is really finding his heartbeat a little bit, so he's got that pulse back, especially on defense. Again, they're going to have to find a way to cut that baseline, find more driving lanes for Day as well. Day, only really having 9 points so far and leading scorer for Fordham, but they're going to need strength in numbers. It's going to have to be a supporting cast. It's like when you watch a movie, get an Oscar nom, but you need that supporting cast.
For Reeves, someone who's been the guy to take over down the stretch time and time again, but against LaSalle, he was pretty quiet to end the game. They're going to need another big finish from their top dog if Fordham wants to pull out the win today. Trailing by 2 with the ball, right side baseline inbound, triggered by Reeves, into Jacobs, back to Reeves, out to Henry, right wing, kicks it to the corner. Lesmond drives baseline, bounce pass inside, Schultz, the flip shot is good.
Passing the ball like a hot potato is going to open up those driving lanes for the Rams. Christian Henry back to Day, and that'll move everything over for an easy cut and an easy lay.
Crawford the other way, steps inside, layup no good, scrap for the rebound, 3 Rams bat at it, and it's into the hands of Reeves.
Again, strength in numbers is going to have to be that slogan for the Rams offensively and defensively if they want to crash those boards and offensively take the lead as they just did with Day.
Day steps inside, fades back, an elbow jumper is pure. 37-35, Fordham's first lead since it was 3-2. Rhode Island with it. Hinton at the nail, kicks out. Crawford, corner, 3. No good, in and out. Fordham the rebounds.
Schultz kind of had drop coverage, opened up that 3. Again, they're going to let URI shoot all game, only shooting below 30% from the beyond the arc, the Rhody Rams are. So if you're Fordham, you'll take those open 3s any time of the day.
Reeves on the right wing, trying to steady the offense for the Rams. Takes a left side screen from Schultz, double team, nearly loses the ball, kicks it out. Schultz with 5 to work, right wing, kicks it corner. Henry, 3, no good off back iron, rebound Cochran.
Christian Henry's shot selection has been subpar in the last month or so, but again, his shots come not in numbers, but they are timely.
Hitting on the left wing. Cuts inside on Henry, now towards the right side of the floor. Saucers a pass to Alex Crawford, right side corner. Rhode Island hasn't scored in 3 full minutes. Hinton, dribble moves on Lesmond, goes baseline, steps back, 3. No good off back iron. Fight for the rebound, retrieved by Itijere. Second chance for Rhode Island. Hinton, hop step, pass out, Cochran, 3 is good.
Kind of a defensive collapse there. Itijere gets the rebound, but Fordham Rams kind of just looked like they didn't know what they were doing. They had no hands up, opened up a passing lane for an open 3. URI takes the lid off the basket and takes the lead back right where they were.
38-37, 13 minutes to play. Schultz, near side, low block. Backing down Itijere. Schultz towards the middle of the floor. Steps inside, a pretty finish. Has the bench going crazy. And puts Fordham back in the lead.
Goodness, Joe, the step through every day and twice on Sunday for Schultz. That's cookies for him.
Cochran spins inside and draws a foul off the help defense. He's starting to heat up for URI. We'll see if they call this in the act of shooting. It was close. Foul goes against Chris Henry. Looks like it will be free throws for Tyler Cochran.
So Bosco Deja will check in. Akira will sit, so they'll go with Henry, Schultz, Reeves, Lesmond, and Abbas with just about 12 minutes remaining here, but Fordham really got to lock in the paint.
Foul does go on the floor, so Rhode Island will bring it in. Tripp, right wing, no good on the 3.
Probably hear a pen drop when Jameer Tripp shoots the ball. Everyone just thinks it's going in. He's 17, 6 of 11 from the field, shooting over 50%. Misses that one, though, so Fordham will have a chance to capitalize off a missed shot.
Day Reeves on the left wing, dancing on defenders, passes out to Schultz. Schultz fakes the dribble handoff, cuts inside as it ripped away by Itijere.
Beautiful move. He wanted that Euro step again. He stepped through that defender, but just couldn't bobble the ball correctly.
Tripp the other way. Passes out to Crawford. Bounce pass finds Hinton left wing. Now corner for Johnson. Up top, Cochran working on Reeves. Shielded well. The crowd loves it. Hinton, left wing, 3. No good. Rebound batted back out to Tripp. Second straight possession with an O board for URI.
URI doing such a good job after getting that offensive rebound, taking the shot clock down, making life so hard for the Fordham Rams. Again, they're sticking on man defense.
Cochran on Lesmond, gets by him, hop step, inside, off window, and in.
Abbas Bodija was on drop coverage there across the perimeter. Didn't see the cutting offensive player, couldn't get to the help defense as he normally does on that low side block. Ends up for an easy 2 for the Rhody Rams.
Back in fourth they go, 40-39 Rhode Island with 11 to play. Henry working inside from the left wing, kicks out to Reeves. Reeves working on Hinton, stepping back, 18-footer is cash.
My goodness, 1-800, I need a bucket. I'm going to call Day, Joe.
Mike McPile trying to hype up his bench. Fordham back in front, 41-40. Chance of defense, ringing through Rosehill. Rikus Schulte a steal. Schulte up ahead. The hammer!
Drop the hammer. Schulte, again, every day and twice on Sunday, bringing the house down with 10 minutes to go. Taking the lead, something they haven't done for more than a minute in this game.
Rosehill loves Rikus. Fordham up by 3, its biggest lead in a long time. Crawford, top of the key, inside on Schulte, stolen away by Henry. Henry in transition. Henry will pull it back out briefly.
Joe, that's another forced turnover. That's 11th of the game. Again, that's Mike McPile's math equation for success. Under 10 for themselves and forcing more than 10 for the opposing team as Christian Henry gets bumped by Tripp and he'll fall right in front of the broadcast booth.
Henry hits the deck, a foul called. It will take us to the media timeout. Fordham with all the momentum in the world. Its biggest lead of the game so far, 43-40 with 9:41 left to play. Everything being left out on the floor here in the regular season finale. We'll step aside for a moment and check back in with Colin Banks, who has another one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Looking back to last night's NBA games, led by a Luka Doncic 40-piece, the Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Indiana Pacers in a 128-117 win. The San Antonio Spurs chipped away at a 25-point deficit en route to a triumphant 116-112 victory over the Los Angeles Clippers. Coming off of a close loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the New York Knicks had no problems handling the Denver Nuggets in a 142-103 win. The New Orleans Pelicans fell in a close 118-116 defeat to the Phoenix Suns. The Houston Rockets got back on track in a defense-led 106-99 victory over the Portland Trailblazers. Jason Tatum made his long-awaited return to basketball as the Boston Celtics beat the Dallas Mavericks in a 120-100 win. Lastly, the Miami Heat capped off their third win of the week with a strong 128-120 win against the Charlotte Hornets. You've been listening to the one-on-one scoreboard updates with Colin Banks.
Back in the Rosehill Gym. Thank you, Colin. Joe Henry here with Nathan Rogers. It's t-shirt toss time, and it's all smiles here in the Bronx as Fordham has pulled out in front, 43-40. It's been a team effort, but Nathan, how about Rikus Schulte bringing the building to its feet with a steal and a slam? He's up to 10 points and 11 rebounds. His second consecutive double-double. He had 20 and 11 against LaSalle. He's trying to one-up himself here in the finale.
Rikus in and out. Schulte, he's got that double-double on that menu almost every single game. He's got 10, 11, and 2 so far. And again, he was kind of a non-factor in that first half. Only 2 points in the first half, but Schulte comes out again. It's a story of two halves for this team. You start in that first 10 minutes in that second half, go on that run, and Schulte's been that backbone, that X-factor that, again, Mike McPile used at UC Riverside. He brought over to the Bronx and, again, playing that gritty basketball, but an open half court for Schulte is like a grass field and a pasture for him, and throwing it down, getting everyone on their feet. It's all about energy here at Rose Hill. Again, this feels like a playoff game because it is. If you really think about it, it's all about seeding implications so far, but for Fordham, shooting 57% so far in the second half. My goodness, Joe. They couldn't buy a bucket in the first half. It was really just heart-on-heart defense, but muscling their way to a 43-40 lead is everything you want for Mike McPile, and of course, forcing 11 turnovers is nothing to be shy of.
Not an elimination game as every team makes the A-10 tournament, but the winner today will get a higher seed in the conference championships will begin on Wednesday. Both of these teams will play on Thursday after a first-round bye. Dede Reeves, by the way, up to 13 points. 29 out of 29 games, he has dropped 10 or more points. According to my records, that's the first time in Fordham history that a player has lodged double digits in every single game. Back to action. Jacobs inside, hop step, gets fouled, and will go to the line.
My goodness, Akira Jacobs, the 6'10", 230 product from Japan, just running in and slashing through. The defense got that pound dribble, gather step, goes up off the glass, gets that foul. Easy profit off the charity stripe for him, coming in with 2 shots.
Jacobs started the game as Fordham's leading scorer. He had 5 points early, but has not scored since. And we'll change that here. First free throw hits off the front of the iron twice before deciding to go in.
And Akira Jacobs, one of those players that Mike McPile really leaned on early in this season as their stretch forward player that can really shoot from anywhere on the court. We saw it against Bonnie's. He really trusted him with that last shot. Again, it did miss, but it was about to go in. So Mike McPile really trusted Akira, especially down the stretch with under 10 minutes remaining here at Rose Hill.
45-40 Fordham. Cochran inside, loses the ball, scrap for the rebound. Last touch by URI. Everything coming up Fordham.
That's another turnover, so URI has 12. They do turn the ball over a lot, but URI is known for forcing turnovers. Again, they're top 20 in the country in opponent turnovers per play. Fordham only has 11.
Henry working the right side of the floor. Double team. Dangerous pass finds Lesmond. His quick pass to Schulte is picked off by Itijere.
Kind of an ill-advised pass there by the Harvard transfer. Not an open Schulte down low.
Cochran drives inside, sends Schulte to the floor, misses on a wild layup, but will go to the line. Will be free throws 4 and 5 on the game for URI. Fordham has taken 8.
Not a lot of free throws so far here, Joe, and both of these teams don't rely on their points from the charity stripe.
Just the third personal foul from Fordham this half. URI has committed 5. Cochran's first is short.
Holding Cochran to around 8 points with under 9 minutes to go here is something that Fordham shouldn't be shy about defensively. He had a season high, Cochran did, with 34 versus Richmond. And again, he's one of those scrappy players that leads the A-10 in steals per game, so he does it on both ends of the court, but misses the second free throw, so he only has 10 points, Joe.
That's free chicken. Chick-fil-A off of 2 missed free throws in the second half. Rose Hill's gotten it a bunch this year. They get it from the Cochran misses.
Let's go Fordham chants ringing here at Rose Hill.
Trying to add to a 5-point lead. 8.5 to go in the regular season. Henry, low post extended, working inside on Harper, draws a foul. And they're gonna call it an offensive foul off of a hook on Harper. The crowd doesn't like it one bit.
Christian Henry was on that near side wing, backing down his defender. He waved off Roarcore, wanted the ISO, wanted to go up physical. Christian Henry's one of those guards that, again, can shoot from beyond the arc, but also drive in and post up players even if he wants to. Wanted that defensive foul, but turns the tide here for the Rhody Rams with an offensive foul.
Third personal for Henry, so Marcus Green will check in for him. Rika Schulte commits a foul trying to deter Jameer Tripp from getting a post touch. On the other end, Itijere's up to 3 fouls himself. So the Rhody big man has to be careful.
And just from an eye test, Joe, it looked like the refs were quote-unquote, letting them play in the first half. It seems like they're kind of whistle-heavy so far in these last 3 minutes.
2 fouls in quick succession for Fordham. Now both teams have committed 5 personals. Get into the bonus with 7. Double bonus off at the 10th. Left side baseline inbound for Rhode Island. Corey taking his time with it. It's a 5-second call. Great defense from Fordham, and Rhode Island has been stifled, scoreless again in the last 3 minutes.
URI couldn't get anything going. Corey under the basket on that baseline left side. Couldn't get anything inside. Looking around for an open pass to Boss Bodisha, cut off every driving lane down low. Credit to him on defense for forcing that turnover. It's URI's 13th.
45-40, Fordham. 8 minutes to play. Reeves, left wing, double team, kicks out. Green, 3. No good off back iron. Bodija has position and gets the rebound. Hop step inside, goes up and makes it through contact.
My goodness, Bodija just bodies him up, shuts the door, lets it fly from down low with even 4 Rhody Rams around him.
Itijere a slam on the other end as URI breaks down the 2-3 Fordham zone, makes it a 5-point game once more with 7:38 left to play.
Fordham hitting 4 of their last 5 shots. Nothing hitting from beyond the arc for either of these teams. Again, it's going to be a game of who can paint the picture in the painted area.
47-42, final 7 minutes and 38 seconds from the Rose Hill Gym on the 2025-26 season. Clock is ticking. Should be a good finish. We'll step aside for a moment. Be right back with more Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside U.S. Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One-on-One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
Joe Henry, Nathan Rogers with you from the Bronx. It's 47-42, Fordham over URI here in the regular season finale. And here's the seeding story, Nathan. In the A10, all 14 teams make the tourney. The top 10 get a first-round bye. Neither of these teams were expected to get a bye. Both have already clinched one. So they have the exact same conference record. Each are 7-10, but Fordham won the earlier matchup in overtime, so they technically have the tiebreak right now. Fordham stands as the 9 seed, URI is the 10 seed. There's a bunch of scenarios for what could happen depending on other games and, of course, this one. Both of these teams could finish anywhere from the 8 seed to the 10 seed based on this game and others. What we do know, the loser of this game will be the 10 seed and play at 5 p.m. on Thursday against the 7 seed. The winner will be either the number 8 or the number 9. Now, another interesting twist to this, Nathan. If you're in the 8-9 matchup, you win and you move on to face St. Louis, the number 1 seed who's been ranked for most of the season. If you're in the 7-10, you move on to face number 2 VCU, who's formidable in its own right. So who would you rather play? Regardless, I think both of these teams just want to take a win into the tournament. They're not really thinking about matchups today, but there's just so much to take into consideration breaking this down.
Yeah, well, February and March is just a month, 2 months of chaos for sports in general, but college basketball and A10 basketball specifically. And if you're Fordham, you want to win here, obviously. You want that momentum going in, but who do I want to play down the stretch in an A10 playoff? It's VCU on a neutral site any day over SLU. SLU really was the only team that blew out Fordham this year. Fordham hung with everyone, even VCU. At home, they should have won that game if not for a Christian Henry turnover under the basket with about 20 seconds remaining in the game. They were down by almost 15 or 11 at half. Really just came back in that second half again. A story of 2 halves for that team, but for the A10 playoff, for this team, with everything they've been going on with this year, players leaving the team for whatever reason, a new coach cleaning house, 1% of the roster remaining from last year, for them to have a bye and watch teams play on day one, that's a confidence boost if I've ever seen one for this team.
Back to action, Fordham with it up by 5. Jacobs, top of the key, 3 off the right of the iron. Rebound URI. RJ Johnson, the point guard, will move it up for him. Into the hands of Cochran, now trip on the left wing. Step back 3. Rattles out. Fordham secures the rebound.
And if you're Fordham defensively, you're closing out everything on the wings, especially if Tripp has the ball. You can't let him get any separation from beyond the arc.
47-42, Fordham the lead. Last 7 minutes here from Rose Hill. Reeves spinning at the elbow, stepping back, missing on the shot. Rebound into the hands of Jacobs, kicks out for a corner, 3 is good!
Joe, that is an absolute cookie if I've ever seen one for the 18-year-old product.
Roar makes it an 8-point game.
Biggest lead for Fordham so far.
Biggest of the day. Rhode Island trying to change that. Cochran, floater, no good on the baseline. Rebound, Bodija. 50-42, Fordham the lead in the ball.
Fordham on an 11-2 run in the last 5 minutes, holding URI to only 3 field goals.
Final 6+ here from the Bronx. Reeves, right wing Lesmond. Tied up by Cochran. Lesmond drives left side at the free throw line, has it stripped down by Cochran into the hands of Tripp. Another Fordham turnover, it's 14th. Cochran, top of the key, cuts inside at the elbow, passes back out. Johnson, between the legs dribble on Lesmond, cutting inside the right side, tied up, has to pass out. Cochran, left wing, 3. No good off front iron. Scrap for the rebound, retrieved by Itijere. Pound dribble inside, has to give it up to Hinton. URI will settle things down for a moment. Cochran on the left corner, drives baseline, steps back, 14-footer, front of the iron and out. Another stop from Fordham.
Fordham going with a really big lineup. They got Akira, Abbas, Lesmond, and Akor with Dede. So really focusing on getting through the paint, getting physical bodies down low to stop the bleeding and maintain this lead for Fordham.
Foul called on Jonah Hinton, trying to reach in on Dede Reeves off of a pass from Louis Lesmond. Fordham up 50-42 off of stifling defense, and the offense starting to click as well. Just over 5 minutes left in this one as we hit a media timeout. We'll step aside for just a moment. Be right back with more Fordham men's basketball.
Hi, I'm Mary Hawthorne, one of your hosts on WFUV's tennis podcast, Cross the Line. From breakdowns of majors to courtside US Open coverage, we've got you covered on all things tennis from the ATP and WTA. Tune in to weekly episodes of Cross the Line on YouTube and featured segments on One on One. Cross the Line, WFUV's home court for tennis.
Hi, I'm Ashley Wendt, one of your hosts for FUVFC, WFUV's best, if not only podcast for all things soccer. From insight from beat reporters for all of New York soccer clubs to breakdowns of all the major leagues and events from the international pitch to right here in the States. Tune in weekly as we discuss all things soccer on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week on FUVFC, a product of WFUV.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One on One, New York's longest running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Joe Henry, Nathan Rogers back in the Rose Hill Gym. Final 5 minutes and 10 seconds of the 2025-26 regular season. Fordham leading 50-42 off of a big second half run and trying to close this thing out and secure a winning record for the first time in 3 seasons. Chris Henry near side right in front of us. Bounce pass into Rika Schulte to get us back up and started. Schulte at the right wing, looking for Day-Day Reeves on a handoff. We'll find him. He's double teamed by Itijere. Right side corner, Reeves up in the air, throws the ball away into the hands of Hinton. URI off the turnover. Hinton on the left wing. Probing on Schulte. Hinton drives baseline, shielded off, has to pass back out to Cochran. Cochran will drive inside on Henry, kick out, Hinton, corner, 3. No good off back iron. Cochran the rebound. The putback is no good. Retrieved by Akor.
Fordham got away with an easy 2 for the Rhody Rams. They couldn't connect. Schulte had to shade down to the paint. It opened up an open 3 for Hinton. He ended up missing it. So Fordham gets away with kind of an easy one there for Fordham, for the Rhody Rams, excuse me. So the Rams will have an opportunity to capitalize off a couple missed shots for Rhody.
Still 50-42, Fordham the lead in the ball. Final 4 minutes and change. Henry drives right side, steps back, contested 16-footer, no good at the buzzer. A long, stalled out possession ends in a shot clock violation, the 3rd of the day for Fordham.
Very aggressive defense for Rhode Island to open up after that media timeout. They swarmed Day-Day on that near side 3-point line and had no help. For Day-Day had to throw it away, or else he would have forced another turnover by falling out of bounds. Rhode Island again stops Fordham, but under 4 minutes to go here at Rose Hill.
Hinton top of the key, kicks it left corner. Johnson drives in, kicks out. Hinton finds Tripp on the right corner. Tripp is fouled on the drive, not in the act of shooting. Foul should go against Roar Core.
Again, Fordham still on that 11-2 run, but scoreless in the last 3 minutes, Joe.
6 personal fouls for each side, so next one will put them both in the bonus, but this one will not. URI will have it on a baseline out of bounds. Nathan, Day-Day up to 13 points, but he hasn't had to do it all, which I think is different from what we're used to, but also a welcome change that as the year has progressed, his supporting cast, as you like to say, has started to really round into form and get the job done in these close games.
Again, it's been capital D defense that's led into offense, and in that first half, Fordham could not buy a bucket. They were shooting around 23% and good for 32% on the full half for Fordham. In this second half, it's been a flip of the script. They're shooting almost 60% from the field so far in this second half with almost 3-4 minutes remaining, and Schulte has really been that X factor that's been helping out. Almost everyone on the box score has been scoring. They have their bench for Fordham has been outscoring the Rhody Rams by almost 20 total points. Everything just coming for Rhode Island through Tripp. And that happened last time around against URI. It was all Cochran. He had 25 last time against Fordham. Only one player in that head-to-head matchup had more than 10 points. So for Rhode Island, it really just takes that one superstar to keep them in the game. But for Fordham, it has to be strength in numbers for Mike McPile.
50-42, Fordham on top. Final 3:48 incoming, but first we'll step aside and kick it over to Colin Banks with a one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Reviewing this week's A10 basketball action, on Tuesday, the Dayton Flyers improved to 21-9 in a 65-60 win over the Richmond Spiders. The George Mason Patriots fell to the Virginia Commonwealth Rams in a close 65-70 loss. Next, on Wednesday, the 25th ranked St. Louis Billikens routed the Loyola Chicago Ramblers in a 79-65 win. St. Joseph's Hawks escaped with a narrow 70-67 win against the Davidson Wildcats. The Rhode Island Rams took care of business against the Duquesne Dukes in a 64-52 win. In an overtime thriller, the St. Bonaventure Bonnies fell to the George Washington Revolutionaries in a 91-82 defeat. The Fordham Rams came up short in a devastating 87-84 loss against the LaSalle Explorers. Then on Friday, a heavyweight bout between A10 contenders VCU and Dayton resulted in a 68-62 VCU victory. Lastly, today is the A10 season finale, and thus far, the St. Joseph Hawks have took home a win on home court against the LaSalle Explorers. And then the Davidson Wildcats beat the St. Bonaventure Bonnies 68-63. I'm Colin Banks with the one-on-one scoreboard updates.
Thank you, Colin. You'll hear from him again at the conclusion of today's game alongside Mary Hawthorne for the one-on-one post-game report, but still basketball to be played. 50-42, Fordham in front, final 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Joe Henry and Nathan Rogers here to take you the rest of the way. Jamir Tripp at the free throw line sinks his first. Off of a foul on Roar Core before the break.
And Joe, about 3 minutes ago, they only had 8 points off turnovers. 5 minutes ago was 8 points off turnovers. Now they have 15. So Fordham really taking the accountability that they had before the game of their game plan and really sticking to that. And Fordham out-rebounding the URI Rams 18-8 in the second half and grabbing 13 more total rebounds so far in the whole entire game. The question remains, can they get other players involved like our boy C-Hen, Christian Henry, number 30, or Roar Core, that 18-year-old product?
Tripp misses on his second free throw. Schulte the other way, middle of the floor, hook shot is good.
And that's the creme de la creme for the German product. He hits that almost every day. It wasn't falling in the first half. He sticks to it here. Fordham will open up with that zone defense.
Tripp at the nail, working in on Schulte. Wild shot, rejected by a Core. Schulte's got it. Fordham by 9, its biggest lead of the day, trying to build on that.
And if you're Fordham, you want to take the shot clock all the way down, ticking under 3 minutes to go here at Rose Hill. You want to take all the time off that possession for URI.
Reeves, right side of the floor, kicks it left side. Schulte spinning at the perimeter, finds Henry. No look feed inside to Schulte. He was fouled by Cochran. Boy, would that have been a highlight play.
Schulte smiling. Christian Henry dapping his boy up from the paint. He wanted that. Fordham's in the bonus now, so it'll be free throws for Schulte, but for him to pump fake, get his defender in the air, and really just go up for that dunk at that foul, really going to solidify this win for Fordham at home.
2 shots no matter what for Schulte. Fordham in the bonus the rest of the way. Schulte's first off the right side of the iron and out. Just a 63.4% free throw shooter on the season. But more importantly, has now lodged his second straight double-double, 12 and 13. Having a huge second half to help turn things around for a Fordham team that trailed for the first 25 minutes of play. Schulte hits on the second, 10-point game for the first time today, 53-43.
Fordham on a 14-3 run in the last 8.5 minutes, Joe, just owning everything in the last 10 minutes.
2.5 to play. Tripp, top of the key, working on Reeves, throws it right into the hands of a Core. Roar's third steal of the day, and Fordham starting to feel it. Henry across the timeline, guarded tightly by Hinton. He's trying to poke away at it. A foul will be called. Henry will get a free throw, maybe a second. Fordham closing in on its first winning season in 3 years.
Still a lot of basketball to play here. 2:15 left for Rhode Island. Again, they're a streaky team. They can go on a run at any time for Archie Miller and his Rhodey Rams, so don't count them out just yet. And if you're the Rhodey Rams, Christian Henry is that player that you want on the line. He's shooting under 60% as a guard his size from the free throw line.
He misses off front iron on the first. Itijere the rebound. Up ahead to Johnson, steps into a 3. It's good. Back to a 7-point game.
And just like that, Joe, they're back in it within 10.
The official wants to trigger a review, I think just to see if it was a 2 or a 3 from Johnson. Caught the ball off an outlet in transition and threw up the shot. Might not have looked to see if his feet were set.
URI would, if this is a 3, it would end their scoring drought from beyond the arc, one of their last 8 from beyond the arc. So they would kind of take the lid off the basket there. We're still reviewing it. It looks like it'll be a 2. So he had his foot on the line. So a break for Fordham with 2:04 remaining in the second half.
So it'll be an 8-point game, 53-45. Jamir Tripp, who reached the 18-point threshold early on in the second half against his former team, has not scored since. And in that time, Fordham went from trailing to building up a commanding lead. It's been a little bit of everything. As we talked about, the one-man show for URI, Jamir Tripp stopped showing up, and Fordham came right back. On the other end, the by-committee approach, Schulte, Reeves, Jacobs, Green, Bodija, Akor, Henry, Lesmond have all scored.
And Akor only has 3 points, but look at that box score under the steals. 3 steals. He literally looked like prime Jalen Ramsey, picking off everything in sight, every cross-court pass, and even just ripping the ball out of Itigere's hands for a turnover.
Henry will inbound. Fordham will have to go the full length of the floor. Ball into Bodija. He's double-teamed. Bodija. Pass out to Schulte. Schulte across the timeline to Henry. Rams break the press. The last 2 minutes of the regular season here in Rose Hill. Fordham by 8 with the ball.
Let's go Fordham chants ringing here at Rose Hill.
Reeves inside, fouled hard. They're going to call it an offensive foul. It must have been that Bodija or Schulte pushed a man into Reeves, because he certainly did not commit a foul.
Mike McPile telling his team to not worry about it, get back on defense. Can't do anything about it. Clapping, getting his defense back into the game. Again, they'll open up with that defense, that zone, that 4 look up top, and one player, Schulte, in the paint.
Brody needs a bucket, down by 8 with 90 seconds to go. Cochran, left side baseline, kicks out, Tripp, 3. No good, off right iron. Fight for the rebound. It's Day-Day Reeves to come up with it. Reeves double-teamed the full court. Wild pass up ahead, retrieved by Henry. Henry all the way up the floor. Bodija wide open. Misses on the dunk. A foul called on Itigere. Would have brought the house down.
Christian Henry a little gingerly taking across the timeline. He was swarmed by Rhode Island defenders. Couldn't get the ball up top to Boston Bodija in time. He does, though, so it'll result in a foul, but pass a little late there. He was on his own island on the other side of the court. Fordham has a chance to bring the lead up to 10 here. Both teams in the bonus.
Fordham will be in the double bonus on the next foul. Bodija fouled in the act of dunking, so 2 shots no matter what. First one off front iron, backboard, and in.
And what a powerful win would this be, Joe, going into the A-10 tournament. You can't ask for more momentum. Again, coming off a tough loss of LaSalle where they really just shot the lights out. Probably their best offensive game in A-10 conference play this whole entire year for LaSalle. And it was their senior day, and they really just shot the lights out. Fordham looking for momentum with this win with just about a minute remaining.
55-45, 70 seconds to go. Itigere out to Johnson, top of the key. Left wing, Cochran, 3. Reynolds out. Reeves skies for the rebound, can't get it. Pops out to Cochran, drives inside. Floater is good. 8-point game.
Left-hand floater there. Rhodey still in this. Still a lot of basketball to play here. Both teams in the bonus, something to keep in mind.
1 minute to play. Ball into a core. Double team finds an open Schulte. He's going to move it across the timeline. Henry, right side. Foul given by Johnson. They hunted out Henry, the worst free throw shooter on the floor. Double bonus in effect, though, so we'll get 2 no matter what.
Took a while for Rhodey to get that foul. They waited for them to get it across the timeline. They probably could have trapped Schulte up top on that far side across the timeline, but they wanted to foul Christian Henry, so he'll go to the line. He missed his last one. Fordham in the double bonus with 50 on the clock.
Up by 8, a chance to really put things away here. You can understand URI's philosophy as Henry's first swirls all the way around the iron and out. two freshmen, Rorcore and Abbas Bodija, who are putting the finishing touches on a fantastic rookie campaign, have been known to struggle when pressured. So you could understand maybe trying to force the turnover there. Henry's second is good, 9-point game, 56-47, URI the ball trailing with 50 seconds flat on the game clock. Cochran dumps off for Tripp. Tripp passes it straight out of bounds, and he's going to hear a whole lot about it. Fordham going to run away with this one, 56-47, 44 to go. Rhode Island will double team Day Reeves. The pass is going to find Rika Schulte off the inbound. He will be fouled. He will go to the line for two.
And it's really apparent just from an eye test and really just watching this team grow throughout the season. Mike McPile is really just building a team culture that will stand for many years here, and taking this program under his belt for his last home game of the season to end off with a great win against URI, a team that is better than their record shows. They're top 4 in defense. They really have a lot of talent. We've seen it today with Tripp. They got shooters in Cochran and Hinton. They're going to be a scary team in the tournament, but Fordham will etch its way into the tournament with a seed that they want.
Schulte splits a pair. Cochran threw it right to Day Reeves. And Reeves will use his body to draw a foul and put a bow on this one. For the 4th time in 5 meetings, Fordham is going to win the Battle of the Rams. 57-47, 10-point lead. 2 free throws coming from Day Reeves. As Fordham poised to enter the conference tournament with some wind at its sails. Reeves' first is good.
And if you're Mike McPile on the coaching staff, you got to be as happy as you can. This is exactly what you wanted for this game. You're winning by about 10. Going into momentum with that A-10 tournament. You know, and you also saw a supporting cast today, something that they've been struggling with all year.
Fordham bench trying to start some MVP chants as Reeves cashes in on the second. 36.1 to go, Fordham by 12. Johnson up ahead to Hinton. Back to Johnson, top of the key, finds Hinton. Will step inside, draw a foul off the ball on Bodija. Rhode Island is in the bonus, so it'll give Hinton a 1-and-1 with 28 seconds left. Not sure how much of a difference it'll make.
Probably not much, Joe, but Rhode Island still scratching away here, showing their fight as they end their season as well.
Of course, both of these teams will be in the A-10 tournament. All 14 teams make it. Each team will finish with a first-round bye, so they won't have to play on day 1 Wednesday. Hinton hits his first 11-point game. So both will play on Thursday. Question is, against who and as what seed? The loser of this game will be the 10 seed. Looks like that'll be Rhode Island, facing the 7 seed, which will either be Duquesne or George Washington. And Fordham will play the other of those two teams in the 8-9 matchup. Ball into Day Reeves, who is triple teamed and thrown to the floor on the baseline. A foul called. We'll have 2 more free throws as Fordham continues to finish this thing off.
And something of note here, Joe, too, G-Dub is losing to Loyola Chicago, now the worst team in the A-10. So something to be happy about for sure. This is exactly what you want if you're Fordham right now. You wanted a G-Dub loss. So Fordham will end up playing them in the A-10 tournament, it looks like.
If that stands, I believe that it would be Fordham as the 8 seed, GW as the 9 seed. Now, it doesn't really matter. It's on a neutral site court in Pittsburgh.
But the momentum going in, knowing that your team that you're
right.
playing lost to the worst team in the A-10, a 7-23 Loyola Chicago. Again, they are down by 4 with 12 seconds remaining, but nonetheless, that should have been a game that they should have blown out Loyola Chicago.
Reeves readies for a second. Marcus Green, Louis Lesmond, and Jamison O'Toole set to check in for their final 25 seconds in the Rose Hill Gym. It's an all-senior 5. Reeves, Henry, Lesmond, O'Toole, and Green to close things out. This place is loud.
And how about that, Joe? A standing O from Rose Hill. Jamison O'Toole, what a great friend he is, what a great person. He's really done everything off the box score and in the box score for this program day in and day out.
Rhode Island with it, final 15 seconds, Fordham up by 12. All cosmetic from here. Crawford misses on the 3. Henry gets the rebounds. Clock trickling down with 5 to go. They want O'Toole to get a bucket. Fordham won't do it, but they will secure their first winning season in 3 years. 61-49 the final. The finishing touches on a regular season campaign that no one could have predicted. From a last place ranking in the preseason poll to a first round bye and likely the number 8 seed in the conference tournament. Mike Magpio's Rams have win number 17 on the season.
Great season for Mike Magpio, taking this program from really nothing to something, if we're being honest. And they had to clean house after last year. Again, Fordham loves basketball. They had that Rose Bowl year in 2023. For them to bring that energy here on senior day, even when the student body's away on spring break, for a full packed out crowd here after a 4-game win streak. You fall to VCU, you fall to LaSalle, but you end off with a URI win. Everyone's shaking hands. And on senior day, energies are high. I'm about to shed a tear here, Joe, seeing some of my friends play their last game here at Rose Hill. But for Fordham, it's been all momentum and a great season.
Senior day for Marcus Green, for Louis Lesmond, for Jamison O'Toole, for Day Reeves, and for Chris Henry. Their last game in Rose Hill, but not their last game as Rams. Fordham moving on to the A-10 tournament in Pittsburgh. First game on Thursday, time TBD. It's going to be an exciting one. The foundation is set here in the Bronx. They're going to take it to a neutral site and try and do what they've never done before. That's win a conference title. As the team comes by with the handshake lines for everyone here. And Nathan, I want to say before we go, this is my last home game broadcasting for Fordham at the Rose Hill Gym. It's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. Feeling very grateful. We're joined now by Fordham assistant coach Kevin Smith. I know it's very loud as always, maybe louder than usual, but for good reason. Win number 17, you secure a winning record. You're going into the conference tournament with a bye. You get the win over a bitter rival. Walk me through all the emotions. It's senior day. They're seeding on the line. Final game of the season, coming off of a couple of losses to get it done in the way you did. Another comeback win for this group.
Yeah, well, first off, I just want to point out that I'm really proud of our guys for bouncing back the way that we did after our last game. I thought our defense was tremendous. I mean, only giving up 21 points in the second half, like, that's going to help you win a lot of games. The offense took a little time to get going, but, I trust Daddy with my 3 kids, man, you know what I mean? So, he did a terrific job. Chris did a terrific job taking care of the ball with 5 assists. Rikas did an amazing job in the post tonight. We made some free throws, 17 for 21. So all a big recipe for a good win.
Obviously, down at half, something you guys haven't been surprised with so far in the last month and a half being down at half. What was the message to the team in halftime coming out and really starting offensively, getting that supporting cast behind Day in that second half?
Well, look, man, we have an underdog mentality, and it's nothing to do with, what we have been, what we're going to be, anything like that. We just have that mentality to come out and attack. We've been down, but it just shows the level of resilience that this group has. It shows the level of leadership that our seniors bring. You see the love in the room for our seniors here. They chose us. They chose Fordham to play their last year, and that speaks volumes. And we're going to continue to be a program that works hard and has people here that want to be here and want to represent Fordham, represent the Bronx.
49 points for Rhode Island. That's the lowest scoring output by an opponent of yours all conference season. 21 points in the second half. That's the least points that a team has scored in a half against you guys in conference play. Tell me about the defense. It was good in the first half, but it went to a whole nother level in the second.
Yeah, well, Rhode Island is a very talented team. I mean, obviously, Cochran is, he's every bit of a pro at this point in his career. And, he's a handful. Obviously, we all know Tripp and how talented of a player he is. And, we really made it a conscious effort to make it really difficult on those guys from a one-on-one standpoint. They're one of the lowest teams in the league in terms of assists per made field goal. So, it was a key thing for us to make sure we surrounded the ball, make them make passes, and don't let them see daylight one-on-one.
Especially seeing other teams play on day one of the A-10 tournament's got to be a confidence boost. What are you most happy with your guys heading into the tournament at Pittsburgh?
Well, the most important thing is the next thing. And we talked about that after the loss at LaSalle. Most important thing was practice. Then the next most important thing was 9 a.m. this morning, and then the game. So we're just taking it one step at a time, and that's where our mindset is. The next opportunity is film session on Monday, right? And making sure that we're locked in on that, and then learning from our mistakes, seeing the things that we do well, and then trying to do those things in the next one.
Fordham assistant coach Kevin Smith. Kevin, thanks so much.
Thanks, fellas.
Fordham finishing touches on a 61-49 win to secure another winning season. First year under the helm for Mike Magpio. Nathan, your final thoughts on what was a defensive masterclass here in the second half to pull out the finale?
Definitely a tale of two halves here, Joe, and it was really great to see that supporting cast behind Day-Day. Again, assistant coach Kevin said that he would trust his 3 kids with Day-Day. So everyone trusts Day-Day on this team, and this team's really cohesively coming together at the right time. They're playing their best brand of basketball in the last 3.5 weeks. And for Fordham to come off that 4-game win streak, they can show that they can hang with any team in the A-10. It's a matter of how they play down the stretch, and they really flipped the script from the beginning of the season where they couldn't close out games. They're now closing out games from being down at half. It's the best case scenario if you're Mike Magpio and the Fordham Rams, taking this program, which was in the bottom, in that pillow fight, bottom seeds of the A-10 last year, to cleaning house, starting all over, nothing to something here for Mike Magpio. He's a proven program builder for a reason, and he's not only building the program on the box score, but also off the court as well. You can really see it in these guys' eyes, and how they treat other people is just so nice, and really just a kind team, and they really just love playing basketball for each other. And I think that's really going to bode well for them down the stretch, and I wish them the best for the A-10 tournament. And I really think out of the bottom half, after seed 5, I really genuinely think that Fordham is the scariest team. They can hang with anyone in the A-10, and no other team in that bottom half has proven to hang and not be blown out by everyone in the A-10. So G-Dub has lost to Loyola Chicago. Duquesne is battling, but they ended up winning against Richmond. So a lot of things falling apart here for other teams, whereas for Fordham, it's really gone the right way, as good as possible.
61-49, the final from the regular season finale here in the Rose Hill Gym, as the A-10 championship picture becomes a little bit clearer. It looks like it will be Mike Magpio's Rams at the number 8 seed, 6 spots higher than expected, to face the number 9 George Washington Revolutionaries. Have to confirm on that, but it looks like that will be it. Looks like Rhode Island is going to play against Duquesne in the 10-7 game. In the meantime, Fordham finishing its first regular season under Magpio with a 17-14 record. Rhode Island 16-15 will go to the A-10 tournament with a chance to finish with a winning record on the year in the 5th year of the Archie Miller era. Both of these teams will get a first-round bye. They will play a game on Thursday in Pittsburgh at the A-10 tournament. It'll be here on 90.7 FM. Stay tuned for that. Exact details on timing to come. In the meantime, for my partner Nathan Rogers, I've been Joe Henry, throwing it over to Mary Hawthorne and Colin Banks for a full breakdown of the action. Here's your one-on-one post-game report.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Studios for WFUV's Sports Post-Game Report. I'm Mary Hawthorne, joined by my in-studio co-host Colin Banks. This Saturday, March 7th, the final score in this down-to-the-wire Battle of the Rams was 61-49 Fordham, win number 17 for the Rams. This Senior Day game celebrates the 5 graduating Fordham Rams for a great 2025 to 2026 regular season. Seniors include number 17, Jamison O'Toole, number 77, Louis Lesmond, number 2, Day-Day Reeves, number 30, Christian Henry, and number 4, Marcus Green. Senior managers are also being celebrated, highlighting the close sense of community on this team. With that being said, during the first half, Fordham was shooting around 23% and good for 33%. The second half, they were shooting almost 60%. there was a clear improvement and aggressiveness from Fordham. And Colin, the energy definitely shifted. You know, we heard a lot of "Go Fordham" chants. How would you describe this change by the Rams?
I mean, yeah, like you said, just a total shift in aggressiveness. The first half, the only thing really working for them was shooting threes. And then the second half, they dominated URI in every facet in terms of the paint and just defensively. On the glass, they out-rebounded them 22-11. They outshot them 11-21. And then defensively, they completely shut down URI and Jameer Tripp, forcing URI to 7 for 26 from the field, and limiting Jameer Tripp, who was 3 for 6 from 3 in the first half, to only 1 for 4. So just really excellent performance in the second half there from Fordham.
Definitely. I think, as we said before, we talked a lot about pressure, and the Rams really were able to keep that under control to ensure this victory today. But as we said, really great playing by Fordham, both offensively and defensively. Now they prepare to compete in the A10 tournament in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania next week. The Rams will face off against the George Washington Revolutionaries in the second round. They have a bye in the first. I think it's going to be a great matchup on Thursday. Colin, what are your thoughts?
It's going to be a good matchup, but it's going to be a tough matchup.
Definitely.
And additionally, there's something to be said maybe about not losing this game, but it may be more favorable to have gone in as the 10th seed, considering the path the 9th seed has leads them straight to St. Louis. I think it's going to be a good matchup. George Washington, though, as we saw, lost today to a not-so-great Loyola Chicago team, so that might be something to look forward to. Maybe they're in a little bit of a rut, and Fordham can get one over them.
Definitely. I think looking back at their history having played one another, you know, it could go either way. But as you said, hopefully it's a positive outcome for the Rams. But with that being said, we will wrap up this Saturday's one-on-one post-game show. To be clear, Fordham won their 17th game as they conclude their regular season while celebrating senior night. Wishing the Rams all the best as they enter the A10 tournament in Pittsburgh. Courtside, we heard from Joe Henry and Nathan Rogers. In studio, Colin Banks, Kurt Sipple, and Bobby Chaffardini, WFUV's sports director. I'm Mary Hawthorne. Fordham men's basketball is a WFUV sports production.